Cyclone's a fast mover.
It's already exiting Florida and moving up across portions of the southeast coast. Maximum sustained winds, though, very steady at about 50 miles per hour with some stronger gusts.
Fox meteorologist Maria Molina says the Carolinas will get heavy rain, and parts of Florida could still get several inches more. And there are no reports of major damage from Colin, but there have been power outages and some flooded roads. An attack in Turkey. There have been 4 civilians and 7 police officers killed in a car bombing that targeted a bus carrying riot police. 36 other people wounded. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
This morning we have sunrise, 5:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 65 degrees. Chicago police tell us a 6-year-old girl has been critically hurt in a shooting on the city's northwest side. Police say the girl was shot in the back around 8 p.m. last night outside of a home in the Logan Square neighborhood. As of this morning, no one has been arrested. And no one is in custody after a northwest suburban Hanover Park man was killed in a shooting in Chicago's South Loop. Sammy Salema and a woman were shot early yesterday sitting in a pickup near 24th and Michigan. Salema later died at a nearby hospital. The judge is throwing out a lawsuit aimed at stopping a plan to close a Will County high school. Members of the Lincoln Way High School District 210 board voted last year to close Lincoln Way North. A group of area taxpayers sued, claiming the district decision was rushed. School officials confirmed yesterday the suit has been dismissed. Police say they have charged a registered sex offender with trying to take pictures of a child inside a Wrigley Field bathroom Saturday afternoon. 37-year-old Nicholas Gregor of Villa Park took out a camera while standing next to a boy at a ballpark urinal. He was arrested and charged with criminal exploitation of a child. He has a previous conviction for a similar crime, and in that investigation in DuPage County, police found a collection of child pornography at his home. Chicago Public Schools, the target of some harsh criticism made by Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner.
Many of them are basically almost crumbling prisons. They're not a place that a young person should be educated.
The governor also said yesterday that some of the schools are woeful and tragic. Mayor Rahm Emanuel responded, saying it sounds like he's auditioning to be a Donald Trump running mate. Chicago Cubs, Major League best 40-16 after John Lester scattered 4 hits in 8 shutout innings to lead to a 6-4 win over the Phillies in Philadelphia. Yevgeny Malkin scored a goal, had a helper. Penguins over the Sharks 3-1 in San Jose to take a 3-1 series advantage in the Stanley Cup final. The news, a service of Wix.com. A great business needs a stunning website. And with Wix.com, you can do it all by yourself. Add your images, videos, text, and social media. It's easy to look stunning online. Go to Wix.com now. Create your stunning website today. Easy and free. That's Wix, Wix.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The average Republican voter out there right now is looking for an outsider who will blow the whole damn thing up.
The Joe Walsh Show.
I don't want somebody who comes from Washington. I don't want somebody to get along with Democrats. Not this year. I want the whole system blown up. That's why Trump, or that's why Cruz.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This year, that's where Republican voters are at.
Hey, Sean Hannity here to talk about the importance of our Second Amendment rights and the importance of protecting your family. Now, in order to do that, well, you need the proper equipment and training from DS Arms. Now, as an actual manufacturer of AR-15 and FN-FAL type rifles, they also stock major brands of firearms, including handguns and every accessory imaginable for self-defense, target shooting, and hunting. Now, ladies, you can get basic and advanced training in a family-friendly environment with your girlfriends, loved ones, or even mom. And you can get certified for your concealed carry license. Everything is provided, including a firearm, for only $225, which is a small price to pay for your safety and the safety of your family and your loved ones. Now, for custom rifles made in America by a real manufacturer or concealed carry firearms training classes with top firearms and trainers will make DS Arms your team. DS Arms, much more than a gun store. Now, they're simple to reach in Lake Barrington, just off of Route 14 and Pepper Road. Call now, 847-277-7260. Or check them out online at dsarms.com.
5:06 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center this morning. The latest on the roads with Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. Displays. There's road work on Mount Prospect Road at the Adams Tollway. I-90, the full closures are done, but there will still be a right lane closed each way till 6 this morning. The Adams Tollway itself, there's overnight work westbound from 53 to Roselle, the 2 right lanes till 6 this morning. Yeah, their overnight work on the expressways and tollways is gone. On 94 in northwest Indiana eastbound, there was a crash between 249 to US 20. That has cleared as well. And plenty of traffic in the South Loop tonight. The West Loop got at Soldier Field. U.S. playing soccer against Costa Rica at 7. And there's a concert at UIC's Pavilion. A lot of traffic in that area this evening. But right now, things are fairly quiet. Traffic is a service of CiCi's Pizza. Can you believe it? CiCi's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas. Original pepperoni, new pretzel, and new bacon stuffed. Try them all and your other CiCi's favorites for just $5 and change. The CiCi's buffet just got better. Believe it. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Sun and clouds for today with a high 68. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 50. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 73. And at night, partly cloudy with a low 55. Clouds and sun Thursday with a shower or thunderstorm around, high of 80. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
59 at O'Hare, 64 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Live with Andrew Holmes. Get honest answers to your questions every Sunday at 12 noon.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Hillary victorious.
I was going to say, Dan, this is a new day in America. For the first time ever, a female has clinched the nomination for her political party.
Yeah, hopefully she does big. As well as Geraldine Ferraro did on the national ticket. Now, this is sort of anticlimactic because we were looking forward to Bernie winning California and pushing forward, even though Hillary would still have had the delegates she needed after tonight anyway. But Bernie is pressing back, saying, the AP resurveying superdelegates
in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands.
But it was still a survey of superdelegates that put her over the top, and these are these party insiders.
They're so pesky, those party insiders.
Well, it speaks to the claim by Bernie and Trump, two sides of a similar coin, that the system is rigged against the outsider insurgent candidate. What about that? What about
it's over, Bernie.
What about nominating a 74-year-old socialist for the first time in American history? That would have made history.
That would have made history, but nobody likes somebody who stays too long at a party. And over the weekend, President Obama did make the phone call to Bernie Sanders, and reporters asked Mr. Sanders yesterday, excuse me, they asked him 6 times, what was the context of your phone call with President Obama? And he said he didn't reveal any details at all. Probably because it wasn't a positive conversation. If it was a good conversation, he would have told people.
Well, I mean...
But just so you know, Hillary this morning, they don't want to rejoice just yet.
Well, they shouldn't. If she loses California, it's going to be quite embarrassing.
They said that, what exactly? They have not, mission accomplished. We have not accomplished our mission just yet. Wow, that was really
yeah, boy,
poetic.
That's powerful.
Wow. Because there's 6 elections today, and they want to make sure that people go to the polls and not figure that she already won so they don't have to bother going to vote for her.
Yeah, let me ask a question. I put this out to our friends and listening audience as well. Who is more insulting to women? Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro, text line. And before you answer, listen to Hillary Clinton talking about her history-making nomination pending.
I've seen it for more than a year. My supporters are passionate. They are committed. They have voted for me in great numbers across our country for many reasons. But among those reasons is their belief that having a woman president will make a great statement, a historic statement about what kind of country we are, what we stand for. It's really emotional. And I am someone who has been very touched and really encouraged by this extraordinary conviction that people have. It's predominantly women and girls, but not exclusively. Men bring their daughters to meet me and tell me that they are supporting me because of their daughters.
Yeah. Wouldn't
That's
it be
probably
nice
true.
to have a woman in the White House?
You know, as my liberal lady friends say, it would be nice to have a female ego in the White House. But here's Hillary Clinton last night, once she learned the news that she was a Democratic presumptive nominee, making history as the first woman.
According to the news, we are on the brink of a historic, unprecedented moment. But we still have work to do, don't we? We have 6 elections tomorrow, and we're going to fight hard for every single vote, especially right here in California.
Yawn. Is this historic? I mean, is this something?
This is the first female to clinch a major party's nomination
Is that
as
right?
president.
Yes, I'm familiar with
okay.
the history. Do you look at Hillary Clinton and do you look at some historical seminal figure the way that perhaps you looked at Barack Obama in 2008? Do you look at her the same way and say, yep, this is really history making? She really broke through for all of us women out there.
Do I wish it was a different woman, Dan, than Hillary Clinton? Yes.
Let me ask another question. The female ego in the White House, as you say, or your Lakeview Cackle Caucus members say, or the idea of it'd be nice to have a woman in the White House because, as Hillary says, that says something about our country. Is that right? I mean, I just look at 2 women in power recently in Brazil and Argentina.
Oh.
Kirchner and Rousseff. How'd that go? One's under indictment, the other's been impeached.
But there's other world leaders like Margaret Thatcher.
Right, Margaret Thatcher.
She is accomplished.
There's no question. There's no question there's been accomplished.
Madeleine Albright.
Well, was she a head of state?
No, she wasn't head of state. Head of Secretary of State.
Yeah, and she was god-awful. But Condi Rice, yeah, I understand there's women of great accomplishment in the halls of power. That's not the question. The question is it so different? This used to be the old saw that, well, you know, if we had more women world leaders, we would see less violence, less war. Mm-hmm. And then you start to look through all of the female leaders, and that argument went away because so many of them have gone to war. I mean, and you could argue legitimately so, like in the case of Thatcher and the Falkland Islands, just for example, or her alliance with Reagan to fight the evil empire, of course. So it's not to make comment on specific policy choices by specific female world leaders, but it's to say, I'm sorry, what is the value add exactly? And do we elect a president as a symbol? Didn't we just do that in 2008? How'd that work out?
It didn't work out. It was an experiment that I don't want to try again. But Hillary Clinton, when her husband was president, she studied the position and said, you know what? I can do that job better.
Are you kidding me?
Are you? No. She wanted to be president. And
she wanted to be president. She's wanted to be president since those 2.
When she was a little girl?
Since they've been playing Hillbilly House of Cards since they were at Yale together, those 2 knuckleheads. Mm-hmm. Of course she wanted to be president.
Yeah, and she learned all the heads of state and learned their kids' names and tried to get in good with everybody.
What does that have to do with being president?
Though it's political. When to become president, you have to be political.
Yeah. What does that have to do with being a good president?
That has nothing. I don't think she's going to be a good president. I don't even think she's going to be president. I'm just saying that's how they worked.
Well,
they worked together
I
as a team, and that was her dream to be a president when she was a little girl growing up at Park Ridge. And now today she's one step closer to it, but she's not going to celebrate yet, Dan.
And I understand.
I don't know if the women are going to celebrate. You know, tear up the streets of Lakeview.
They've overcome a lot. You know, they've had to overcome Roger Clinton. Yes. Who got arrested again over the weekend. It's putting the band back together. Now you got the idiot brother. Roger Clinton arrested. He got picked up for a DUI in Southern California. over the weekend, and he's in. I guess he's still in police custody. This, according to the outlet of record on these matters, TMZ. Bail set at $15,000. This is his second DUI arrest. Roger's playing his part.
Mm-hmm.
He's holding up his end.
You know what? He just doesn't want to be left out. That's the thing.
Randy in Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, guys. I think that that Trump is better for women and less disrespectful to women and minorities. And follow my line of thinking. Hillary, Barack Obama, all these Democrats think that, and they try to give you the perception that they are better for these minorities and women just because they are one of them as far as a Democrat. Whereas a Republican believes that anybody can do anything regardless of who's in the White House. And I believe that's Trump's idea, is that success is within the individual, not dependent on an individual in the White House. Now, success can be made more difficult by the idiot in the White House, as we can see right now. It can be very, very difficult to be successful with people like Obama and his regulations and that kind of nonsense. But the reality is Trump just believes that success is built by the individual. Hillary believes that Hillary puts the impression out that women will be successful because of her. That's insulting. Yeah. Because she's the president. That's insulting. Amy, do you believe that you're successful because of another woman in front of you?
Well,
or do you believe
I'll
you're
tell
successful
you other women inspired
because of your hard work?
No, I'll tell you other women inspired me. That's for sure.
Well, sure.
To be in the workforce, because when you're growing up, all you're taught is, take home ec and learn how to cook and clean to take care of your husband and children someday. No, but Dan, that's what we were told when we were kids.
We're still living in that era, are we?
Well, I'm a little bit older than you. I'm 82 years old.
That's true.
I Botox well.
Yes.
But no, I'm not kidding you. That's what we were told when we were kids. But then you saw people like, my mom went to work. That was inspiring. Oh, my mom went to work. My grandma worked. My grandma went to college.
Yeah, and
which
now,
was in the 30s. So that was inspired us. All right, we're going to be like grandma. We're going to go to work.
There's no question. I get it. And that's absolutely the case, and I appreciate that perspective. But today
we stay-at-home dads.
Today, women are earning 60% of the college degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So do we have a crisis in male education? I mean, for example, during the recession, as the data points out, it was really a man-cession. The unemployment rate among men was twice that among women during the Great Recession.
Okay. Do you think most of it, though,
to present? So
was because they changed roles? Women went to work and men stayed home?
Things have changed considerably, and that we should take stock of those changes to stop pretending we're living in 1975 or 1955, which is where the left is. You have to take judicial notice of changes if you want to have policies and commentary that's relevant to, say, 2016 or thereabouts.
I feel like Hillary's more of a man, female man president.
Well, it's funny you say that. Gary Burns' book, this book we mentioned yesterday, former Secret Service agent, he's got a book coming out called Crisis of Character. A White House Secret Service officer discloses his firsthand experience with the Hillary bill and how they operate. He writes, there's some portions that have been leaked. Sources close to the Secret Service report dreadful altercations have erupted several times, yelling, screaming, throwing of soft and hard objects, breakage of vases and glasses. He describes Hillary Clinton as, quote, too erratic, uncontrollable, and occasionally violent to be president of the United States. That delicate little flower, Hillary Clinton. Our Hillary? Could he be talking about our Hillary? Greg in LaGrange.
Hey, how you doing today?
Hey, Greg.
I would just say, and I'm picking on Amy, but I know she doesn't mean it this way, but to look up to women, how could any woman look up to Hillary Clinton? Give me one reason to look up to her. She's a failed foreign policy from Central America to Libya to Syria. Look at what she's done to the other women that have been involved with some of the scandals with her husband. She lied to the families of the people that died in Benghazi. She lied to the families about some stupid video.
No, I don't look up to her.
I know, but people that look at her as being some sort of bellwether for the change in society and great woman leadership, They're completely delusional. She is the worst example of a woman I could possibly think of.
Well, the worst example, thanks for the call, Greg. I would say the worst example of a human being. I mean, is it possible to be a woman and to be vile? I think so. I think Hillary.
Yeah.
I think
there's a lot of nasty women out there.
Yeah, I think Hillary proves it. I don't know, women, man, she's a vile human being. Here, by the way, here's something else I don't like about this entire conversation. Trump does it too. You know, women love me, that kind of rap.
Hispanics love them too.
Women, 50% of the population or 51% or whatever, they're monolithic. All women think the same. Why do we always refer to women as this, insular group? They're a majority of the population, and it turns out they don't all think alike.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Your phone call's coming up. Grab a line. 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. Today it's going to be cooler. You'll feel it once you step outside with times of sun and clouds in the 50s right now, going up to 68 degrees for a high. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny and pleasant, a high of 73 degrees. Jim Talamonte, I have to tell you, I've seen many things on the roadways, but on the outbound Kennedy today, there was a kitchen sink near Montrose. Has anybody claimed the kitchen sink?
It's gone, so perhaps someone ran away with it. I don't know if it's going to be.
And the kitchen sink.
There you go. But all clear now on the Kennedy. The express lanes are open on the inbound side and outbound. No kitchen, plumbing, or other parts of the home. But there is a crash in northwest Indiana, a new one on westbound 94. There was an earlier eastbound crash in Porter. Now there's a westbound crash involving two semis. This is right near US 20. At the moment, it's only a left lane closure. Adams Tollway westbound, there's road work, 53 to Roselle Road on the two right lanes, but otherwise the overnight work is gone, and the other expressways and tollways, at least for now, look good. Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance. But they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
There are two kinds of pain. Pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders, as well as being educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. You know, there's a nationwide narcotics epidemic, and people are too quick to mask over chronic pain instead of looking for the cause and treating or eliminating the pain. Contact us. We will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers in the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
AM 560, The Answer.
I'm woman.
Yeah.
Numbers too big to ignore. Yeah.
That Helen Reddy song
Helen
is
Reddy.
going to replace the national anthem if Hillary Clinton is elected.
Yeah, but while you were sleeping, it is official. Hillary Clinton became the Democratic Party's presumptive nominee. They recounted those superdelegates in Puerto Rico and U.S. Virgin Islands, and now she's over the top by one delegate.
Oh, there it is.
Yes, there it is. Don't you feel the significance of today?
I just always that cackle puts a spring in my step. It's so darling.
She hasn't been laughing a lot lately like that, or screaming, or screeching, if you've noticed.
It'll be back. Greg and Schaumburg.
Good morning, guys. Do you have a feeling that the Bernie team felt the burn last night of their Schuckmeister PR machine when they executed standard operating procedure of put out the PR release the night before the campaign saying, hey, there's no need to show up tomorrow. We already won.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
You think this is a jiu-jitsu move by Bernie?
No. This
Oh.
is standard Clinton procedure.
Oh,
You
Clinton.
always, with the Schlickmeister, put out the PR release the night before and say, hey, guys, no need to show up tomorrow. We already won.
Well, that would require that the Associated Press was doing the bidding of Hillary Clinton, which I believe.
They are.
Yeah,
They
so
are.
there you go.
And Josh Ernst came
Thanks
forward
for the call,
yesterday
Greg.
at the White House and said President Obama, as soon as there is a presumptive nominee, he's going to come out and publicly back one Hillary Clinton.
That's the courage to back the nominee. That's inspiring. Yeah, he's supposed to campaign with her as soon as the end of this week.
Yes.
As soon as you win, I will be right there by your side until you're indicted. Ed in Oak Brook.
Yeah, you know what? As I was waiting on the phone here, I was going to say that what parent would want to have a daughter like Hillary Clinton? And I'm a parent, and I would not. But then I was thinking, you know what? This lady is very tough. All the negativism about her, and she keeps marching on. But I'm not going to say that either. I think the lady's insane. Because to carry on the way she's carrying on, like she's some gift from God, knowing that she's got all of this bad news that's following her and it's going to come down on her pretty soon, she just carries on. So I think she's out of her mind, is what I think.
Thanks for the call, Ed. They are like cockroaches in my best Scarface impersonation. The Clintons, they just survive. Yeah, cockroaches. Hey, cockroach. It's not a great Scarface, but I'm trying.
Okay.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When elderly family require care, you insist on local medical professionals with specialized training in home service and nursing. Alliance Home Service is a leading family alternative to nursing home and institutional care. It's critical to ask the right questions when matching a caregiver to your loved one to maintain the most positive lifestyle for your entire family. Alliance Home Service is among a select group of Chicagoland companies providing in-home, non-medical care such as hygiene, medication reminders, activities and companionship, and medical care. All caregivers have the highest level of training and expertise. You'll experience the cost efficiency of in-home care as well as the level of caring you expect from family. Call founder and registered nurse Linda Weiler at 866-227-3459 or alliancecaregiver.com for no obligation family care consultation. Alliance Home Service, our family caring for your family. That's 866-227-3459 or alliancecaregiver.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Text from 219. Chicks dig me. I think that was a Bill Murray line in Stripes. It was related to his underwear choice. That's exactly right. Hillary Clinton is going to reprise the Bill Murray character from Stripes. Chicks dig me. It's because I rarely wear underwear, and when I do, it's usually something quite exotic. That'd be perfect for Hillary. And that, don't you want to think about Hillary in her underwear every time you see
yes, please. Those granny panties.
You're welcome.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
Donald Trump triples down on the judge after he doubled down. We'll have that at 5:38.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. 59 degrees outside. Voters in 6 states getting ready to head to the polls. And it looks like Hillary Clinton has reached a number of delegates needed to clinch the Democratic presidential nomination, at least according to the Associated Press, who says support from delegates and a win in Sunday's Puerto Rico primary helped push Clinton past 2,383 delegates needed to lock up the win. However, Bernie Sanders says delegates are reconsidering who they plan to vote for at next month's Democratic convention.
To all of the Democratic delegates going to Philadelphia, in every instance, we beat Trump by far larger margins than does Hillary Clinton.
Now, Clinton will not officially earn the nod until the convention. Tropical storm Colin drenching Florida, heading out northeast toward the Atlantic after making landfall in the panhandle of Florida hours ago. The gorilla exhibit at the Cincinnati Zoo reopens today, 1 week after a 3-year-old fell into the enclosure. Zookeepers then shot and killed a rare lowlands gorilla after it grabbed the boy. Prosecutors say they will not be filing charges against the mother. The last known surviving 9/11 search dog is dead. Brittany was a 16-year-old golden retriever that joined nearly 100 other canines searching for victims in the rubble of the World Trade Center. Here in Chicago, no one in custody after a northwest suburban Hanover Park man was killed in a shooting in Chicago's South Loop. Sammy Salema died at a nearby hospital. Another victim in that car remains in stable condition. A 6-year-old girl critically hurt in a shooting on the city's northwest side. It happened in the Logan Square neighborhood around 8 last night. State health officials say they've confirmed the first human case of West Nile virus in Illinois this year. The Department of Public Health saying that an adolescent in west central Illinois became ill with the virus last month. Cubs over the Phillies, 6-4. The Cubs are a Major League best 40-16. The news, a service of Wix.com. A great business needs a stunning website, and with Wix.com, you can do it all by yourself. Add your images, videos, text, and social media. It's easy to look stunning online. Go to Wix.com now. Create your stunning website. It's easy and free. That's Wix, Wix.com. 5:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
So Trump says Hillary is playing the gender card. Hillary thinks Trump is abusive to women. Hillary gets her personal newspaper, the New York Times, to write a 9-page story about it. Trump thinks Hillary's hubby was the abuser-in-chief and claims Hillary turned on the victims. Earth to candidates. We don't care. We do care about defending this country against terrorism, rebuilding the military, controlling the border, and creating good jobs. Let's talk about that. Give us a plan. That might get you elected. Stick around for more good ideas. AM 560. The Answer.
Tea times, golf outings, driving range, golf academy, brunch, dinner, weddings, banquets, receptions. Find and do it all at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Info online at BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
You don't need a real estate agent with gimmicks. You need the selling power that only Ed Lukasik Jr. can give you.
I'm Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. I know how to maximize the sale of your home.
Ed is listed in the top 30 RE/MAX agents nationwide.
When I list a home for you, I only represent you, not the buyer. I am fighting for your highest home value.
Ed Lukasik Jr., the #1 RE/MAX agent in Illinois for most closed listings.
I use the latest online and mobile technologies to market your home and drive buyer activity to my listings. That equals maximum exposure for my sellers.
Ed closed 260 homes last year. That's a home sold every 1.5 days.
I am an agent that has your best interests at heart. It's not about a quick sale. It's about negotiating to maximize every dollar so you get the highest value for your home.
Call Ed Lukasik Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals, 630-679-5454, 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals, RE/MAX Professionals.
The company was born in the Civil War era. The year was 1866 when founder Christian Henry Hansen started C.H. Hansen in Chicago. The company grew, expanded, and even survived the Great Chicago Fire and the Great Depression to become the great company they are today, headquartered in their Naperville office and factory.
The C.H. Hansen Company stands proud with Chicago and Illinois as a great American hand tool manufacturer. In celebration of their 150-year anniversary, family-owned and operated C.H. Hansen thanks its employees and customers for their service and business. C.H. Hansen offers over 2,000 products, stock and custom in 8 different product categories, including steel stamps, stencils, metal tags, barricade and flagging tapes, Palmgren, makers of work-holding vices and metalworking machines, mechanics tools, and marketing tools. Visit chhansen.com for information. C.H. Hansen is Chicago and a proud part of Chicago and Illinois for 150 years strong and counting.
536 The News, a service of CiCi's Pizza with 3 stuffed crust pizzas, original pepperoni, new pretzel, new bacon stuff. Try them all and your other CiCi's favorites for $5 and change. The CiCi's buffet just got better. Believe it. 536 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center, here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In Northwest Indiana, there's a crash on westbound 94 in Burns Harbor. This is at US 20. Left lane block, crash involving 2 trucks. Northwest side of the city of Chicago. Signals are flashing right on Milwaukee Avenue at North Avenue and Damons. Expect additional congestion at that intersection. Edens is fine. The Kennedy all clear for now. No problems to report on the Eisenhower. On Stevenson slow, Lamont Road to 83, Harlem, Kedzie, and State to King Drive. 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both with 3 to 4 minute delays approaching the Verge. Roadwork on the westbound Adams Tollway, Roselle, between 53 and Roselle Road. You've got 2 right lanes closed till 6 this morning. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Cooler day ahead, sun and clouds, high near 68. Clear to partly cloudy and 50 overnight. 57 at O'Hare, 59 along the lakefront, 55 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues right now. And make sure to join me, Sean Hannity, this afternoon starting at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Donald Trump doubled down over the weekend on the Sunday talkies with respect to Judge Gonzalo Curiel, the Indianan, as you would say. Hoosier.
You mean the Hoosier?
The Hoosier,
Dan,
as most people would say.
don't get it on, get it right. Yeah,
The Hoosier. The Hoosier of Mexican descent. And Trump has made an issue of his heritage, suggesting that that's the reason Judge Curiel has issued terrible rulings in the Trump University case, adverse rulings to the Trump position in that civil case. It's because he disagrees with Trump's politics, the building of a wall in particular. That's why he has taken a hostile attitude towards Donald Trump in that case. And so he doubled down over the weekend. And then yesterday he tripled down. Trump ordering his surrogates to intensify their criticism of the judge and of journalists.
Well, there was a memo released to the surrogates that said, don't discuss this. One of the surrogates is Jan Brewer, former governor of Arizona. And then Trump called his surrogates and said, no, I didn't put out that memo. I want you to turn up the rhetoric against this judge.
Yeah, there was a little disconnect, it seems, between campaign staff who want to tamp this down and Donald Trump who wants to double down. Trump said, according to 2 supporters who were on the call, this reported by Bloomberg, this conference call that you just referenced, we will overcome, and I've always won, and I'm going to continue to win, and that's the way it is.
Okay.
Then of that memo that you refer to, take that order, that memo, and throw it the hell out, said Trump. Are there any other stupid letters that were sent to you folks, Trump said. It's one of the reasons I want to have this call, because you guys are getting sometimes stupid information from people that aren't so smart. Now, he's referring to his campaign staff, so It's not exactly a vote of confidence. And then one Brewer, who was on the call with Republicans like Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi and former Massachusetts Senator Scott Brown, and potentially a VP. Interjected again, Jan Brewer said, you all better get on the same page. Yeah, I think that's a minimum response to that. You better get on the same page. Charles Krauthammer, though, one thing about this Trump and this judge matter is it's a mistake to see this as a Trump gaffe. This isn't a bug. This is a feature. This is what Trump does. This is what he's been doing for a year, literally a year. We're almost to the year from the date of his announcement. So,
gosh, that flew by, didn't it?
So the outrage.
The days go by long, but the years go by fast.
Yes. Sorry. Wow. Who's that? Is that Amy Jacobson original?
Parenting. Yeah.
But so the kind of the outrage, including the hand-wringing by a lot of Republicans and D.C. Republicans who've fallen in line with Trump, is a little suspect, isn't it? This was the point Krauthammer made on Special Report last night.
This isn't a guy who has made a false step. Of course he did, but the larger point is he's revealing who he is. It is not just that those who have now decided to throw in and support him for party unity or whatever reasons have made a tactical mistake in getting behind him. They have to ask themselves, morally, is this the man you want to be the leader of your party? And that's what's at stake here. That's why it's a bigger issue.
Morally, is this the man that you want to be leader of your party? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Put that question out.
I mean, yesterday, Ben Carson, over the weekend, Newt Gingrich and Senator Corker all described Trump's bashing of this Hispanic or American Hispanic judge as inexcusable. Because on Sunday, he took it one step further and expanded the ethnic group into Muslims.
Would a Muslim judge be also out of the question here?
We are allowing tremendous numbers of people coming into this country that we know nothing about. We have a problem in this country. We are going to have big problems. You know, I've been pretty good at predicting things, John. We're going to have big problems. We have people coming into this country, totally undocumented. They don't know anything about them. They don't have paperwork. I've interviewed and talked to the best law enforcement people in the business. There's no way of knowing where they come from, and we're taking them in from the so-called migration. They're being sent all over the country. We have people that don't know what they're doing.
My question is, if it were a Muslim judge, would you also feel like they wouldn't be able to treat you fairly because of that policy of yours?
It's possible, yes. Yeah, that would be possible, absolutely.
So it's not only Hispanic judges, now it's Muslim judges. Where is he going to stop? When is he going to tone it down? When is he going to bring...
Why would he tone it down?
Because he's supposed to be toning it down. Didn't he have a phone call with Paul Ryan over the weekend? That he's going to be more gracious and not bash a judge who is litigating or just deciding over his civil lawsuits.
I think the issue...
Class action lawsuit.
Well, first of all, let's be specific with language here, because I think criticizing a judge for rulings in a case, that's not out of bounds.
Really? I would never do that. Tweet about a judge?
Well, criticizing. I don't care the communication channel you use. The issue is criticizing a judge.
On such a national level? I don't know.
Such a national level of
what?
It's
a platform. I mean, he's got millions and millions of Twitter followers, and he bashed the judge on Twitter.
Yeah, so you should...
Would you ever, if you were involved in civil litigation, would you ever publicly bash the judge?
Probably not, but Trump's in a very different position. Trump has perhaps leverage, and he believes he has leverage. He can put public pressure on the judge that few people can. It's a little bit different than just an anonymous defendant in a civil case before a federal judge. We're going to have former U.S. Attorney General Alberto Gonzales on at the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour, and he makes the point that it's okay to criticize the judge, to suggest that maybe he's conflicted, particularly if he has rejected an ask for recusal in a case, but that's the interesting thing. He hasn't. As far as I know, Trump's attorneys have not asked Judge Curiel to recuse himself, not made a motion for him to remove himself from the case. So that's a little curious if they think he's being treated so unfairly. But the issue of criticizing the judge is that's within the bounds, and that's what Gonzales is saying. It's okay to say, well, wait a second, you appointed counsel for the class of plaintiffs that paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Clintons for speeches. I mean, do we have a fairness concern? Do we have an objectivity concern from the bench? that is a legitimate question to raise, and it should probably be raised by your attorneys. But the heritage question is where he's off the rails. That's where he's off the rails. So I just want to make that distinction because it seems to be getting lost to say, oh, how dare you criticize a federal judge? That's less of a problem. It's how you criticize the federal judge, on what basis you criticize the federal judge or suggest that he or she is not behaving impartially, is not upholding the canons. That's the issue. And, oh, by the way, as we reported here yesterday, and I didn't see it reported anywhere else, dug up an old story from the Washington Examiner, Dick Durbin, when George W. Bush, nominee for the federal bench, Miguel Estrada, was awaiting a confirmation vote that he never received. Never received from the Democrat-controlled Senate. The same people that are saying you have to take up Merrick Garland and give him a vote. Never received Miguel Estrada. And I didn't remember the hue and cry from Latino groups or from the left about Miguel Estrada not getting an up or down vote. But Dick Durbin's staff sent a memo around talking about Miguel Estrada perhaps being the most vulnerable in terms of nominees they could take out, as well as the most dangerous, in part because he's Latino.
Yeah.
And, of course, you don't want the optics of a Latino judge, just like I'm sure they don't want the optics of a Latino attorney general, Alberto Gonzalez, or an African-American Supreme Court Justice in Clarence Thomas. So this is an opportunity as well to remind people of the hypocrisy of the left. They are fine to play the race card to advance someone on the left of color in a minority group. They are fine to play the race card to denigrate someone of the right, a Clarence Thomas, a Miguel Estrada. But they pretend to have moral high ground they don't actually have when it comes to the intemperate remarks of Trump on Judge Curiel. Let's go to Raymond on the South Side. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
How you doing, sir?
Hey, Raymond.
Hey, how you doing? Listen, I got to tell you, man, Donald Trump is racist. Since the beginning of his announcement of candidates for the United States presidency, first thing he said, Mexicans are rapists, blah, 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 blah. Everybody knows what he said.
Well, he didn't quite say that.
The whole campaign has been like that. And now he's attacking his judge based on his ethnicity. He's not arguing the point of his decision. He's claiming that the judge's decisions are based on his race. And that's racist, sir.
Thanks for the call, Raymond.
And Trump has to realize white people aren't going to get him to the White House. I mean, he has to get some of the Hispanic vote and the African-American vote.
Actually, he doesn't.
He doesn't need any of the Hispanic or African-American.
What's the base Latino or African-American vote for a Republican candidate? I mean, what President Obama got 93% of the black vote. And Mitt Romney got
27%
and 70, and so he got 73% of the Latino vote. I mean, there are Latino supporters of Trump's.
There are.
It's not going to be unanimous.
No.
And how much did Mitt Romney really lose by? He lost by about 250,000 votes in 4 states. Mm-hmm. And he moves the needle from 59% of the white vote to 62% of the white vote in 2012. He wins. So actually, we've talked about this before. I'm not celebrating this. I don't like the fact that 90% of African Americans vote for Democrats. I don't like the fact that 70% of Latinos vote for Democrats. I want them in the party to which I affiliate. All the big groups. Everybody, frankly. I want it to be unanimous on my way of thinking, of course. But I'm just saying, in terms of the actual demographics, the actual math, it's not necessarily true. Joe in Oak Forest.
Well, that gentleman, he should remember that the top judge in the United States, Sonia Sotomayor or whatever,
Sonia Sotomayor,
she said that she's a wise Latino, and she uses that in her decisions.
That's right. Yeah, thanks for the call, Joe. That she did. So it's okay to use ethnicity in that way.
That's why they want a diverse court.
Chip in St. Charles. Excuse me.
You know, sometimes Donald needs to. I'm a Trump supporter. What he needs to do is quiet down and let his opponents dig their own hole. Hillary Clinton over the weekend basically said that the Second Amendment doesn't exist.
Right.
And that would have gotten big press if Donald Trump wasn't fighting some fictitious fight over some judge. You know, that guy was appointed because he was, I'm sure because he was a good judge, but also because he was Hispanic. So, you know, I mean, that is part of it, but he needs to quiet down and let Hillary Clinton hang herself with her own rope.
Thanks for the call, Chip. Tom and Wheeling.
Yeah, hi, Dan and Amy. I just wanted to ask you, why do people think that just because he's a judge does not mean he has any racial bias against Trump? There's a lot of decisions that he's already made that lawyers are wondering, how can he be making these decisions? I mean, so why isn't the judge having to answer for, you know, his decisions? I mean, because it suggests to me and many other people that he's doing it based on racist bias. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine right now, but cooler temperatures than we're used to. 56 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high today of 68 degrees. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny and pleasant, a little bit warmer, a high of 73. Anything pleasant on the roadways now that kitchen sink's been removed? Here's Jim Telemonte.
I can't say we've got everything but the kitchen sink now. Amy, that's gone. And we also now have the kitchen sink is cleared on the Kennedy, but on the Bishop Ford outbound at 111th, there's a roll of carpet blocking the left lane. So maybe someone's doing some clearing out of their home. No delays there. But again, outbound at 111th, there is a roll of carpet in the left lane. Careful. Inbound on the Bishop Ford, traffic is getting heavy from 103rd to the Verge. Just about a 4-minute delay. And I-57, very heavy, starting at 127th. It's 23 minutes, I-80 to the Ryan. And the Ryan is 23 minutes now from 95th to downtown. All clear on the Edens, the Kennedy, 21 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 22, little tight, Foster to Sayre. Eisenhower is 33 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. Outbound fine at 29. Stevenson already 50 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The main delay is First Avenue to Kedzie. Adams Tollway eastbound, slow Roselle to 53, and then Gulf Road to Bussey, where there's a crash in the left lane. Jim Talamonte, the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Roll Tide.
ChicagoRadioDeals.com saves you money, so you'll have room for improvement, home improvement. The Grout Medic is offering shower touch-ups for only $110 to make your shower and tub area look like new again. Now, this is a steam cleaning and sanitizing process on all your tile surfaces. The Grout Medic will reseal your grout, hand buff the tiles, and replace the caulk.
Replace the what?
Replace the caulk.
The caulk.
It's a $250 retail value, and wait until you see the before and after results. It's a picture you can post on your Instagram. Also from the
I'd like
Grout
to see
Medic.
A picture of the caulk.
Yes, okay. Also from the Grout Medic is a clean and color seal floor cleaning. This includes steam cleaning your grout, washing the tiles, and applying a color sealer to match. Now, this process normally retails for $250, only $110 at ChicagoRadioDeals.com. So make your way to ChicagoRadioDeals.com, where they offer quality items at huge savings on home improvement, such as duct cleaning, dryer vent cleaning, carpet care, home remodeling, and more. Find it all at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature New Year's Challenge. Success stories are pouring in. So many people have been helped through this incentive that I have asked Balance of Nature to continue this challenge for as long as possible.
I'll tell you what, this stuff is great. I haven't gotten sick. Everybody around me is coming down with that laryngitis, and it seems like it's all over the country. It's like a respiratory tract infection, and people lose their voice, and then it goes away, and then it comes back like 2 weeks later, and it's worse. I teach in a school. Half the teachers here, are sick. They're miserable, and I haven't gotten sick, and I swear it's this stuff. It's this fruits and veggies I'm taking.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Everywhere you go, the threat looms. It follows you no matter what you do. The longer you avoid the IRS and the financial difficulties you're going through, the closer they get to you. John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm can help you end the feeling of being hunted by the IRS. If you've avoided taxes or could benefit from the life-saving assistance of bankruptcy, it's time you call John DeWatt. This is an attorney who is willing to take on the federal government on your behalf. He has worked to discharge thousands of dollars in penalties, and he can help you settle your debts once and for all. Call 888-777-4193. Let the hunters become the hunted. Let John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm deal with the IRS personally. Call John for your own relief plan. 888-777-4193 or online at thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com. That's thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com.
The sounds of summer from your very own pool and spa is brought to you by All Seasons Pools, Spas, and Outdoor Living. All Seasons Pools and Spas begins from the ground up with creative custom design, expert pool construction, and hardscaping, and then finishes with complete maintenance and care, leaving you to enjoy the of summer. As you soak up the sun poolside, imagine a fire pit, outdoor kitchen, or pergola. All Seasons Pool and Spa will turn your boring backyard into a vacation paradise. No need to go off the deep end. Relax, knowing that for over 60 years, All Seasons Pools and Spas has been making a splash in your neighborhood. Visit their showroom and store for a complete selection of pool, spa, robotic pool cleaners, and premium barbecue and grill islands. A trained staff is on hand to provide water testing, salt and chlorine products, and advice for servicing your pool. All Seasons Pool and Spa and Outdoor Living, 135th Street in Orland Park, or resortlivingathome.com. That's resortlivingathome.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
When you need spent a little too much time in the sun relief. Yikes. Ow, what the? Attack of the angry mosquito relief.
Hey, watch this.
Scraped knees.
And an elbow.
Relief. You need new Gold Bond Pain and Itch Relief Cream with lidocaine. Gold Bond has the maximum strength lidocaine available without a prescription and starts working on contact to numb away pain and itch. New Gold Bond with lidocaine. Relief starts now. Use as directed.
What is it about buying a mattress that leaves you feeling violated? Pushy salespeople, fake sales, the walk of shame out of the mattress store? Those days are over. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, co-founder of Helix Sleep, where you can buy a mattress online, customized for you, for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands. Go to helixsleep.com, answer a few simple questions, and we build you the most comfortable mattress you'll ever sleep on. Shipping is free, and you have 100 nights to try it out. Go to helixsleep.com/try now. That's helixsleep.com/try now.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. Bev was self-employed when she called me to refinance last year, but I couldn't help her because she didn't make any money. Bev shut down her business, secured a salary job, and called to pay off over 50 G's of credit card debt she accumulated keeping her business afloat. I helped Bev refinance to pay off all her debt and reduced her payments over $2,000 a month. A lot of listeners think you have to wait 6 months after securing a job to get a mortgage. Wrong! If you're now receiving a salary after being self-employed and would like to pay off debt to lower your monthly payments like Bev did, give me a call at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License 4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We congratulate a female sprinter who qualified for the state championship in a number of events. Oh, and that female sprinter's a dude.
And then no charges against that Cincinnati parents who let their son get into the gorilla exhibit, and we will tell you why. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching right now. A 6-year-old Chicago girl critically hurt in a Northwest Side shooting. Mayor Emanuel and Governor Bruce Rauner trade barbs over school funding. A judge tosses a lawsuit against closing a Will County school, and the first human case of West Nile this year confirmed in the state. Cubs beat the Phillies, and a cooler and cloudy day ahead. Complete look at your weather forecast after Fox News, WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony.
We are on the brink of a historic, unprecedented moment.
Hillary Clinton not declaring victory just yet, even though AP reports she has secured enough delegates to win the Democrat nomination.
Bernie Sanders calls this a rush to judgment, and it is certainly not the news that he wants his supporters waking up to as they head to the polls here in just a couple of hours.
Fox's Leland Vittert in Santa Monica, California.
Clinton is downplaying what could be historic news of her nomination, saying she still needs her supporters to go out and vote. Meantime, Sanders is calling foul on the delegate count, declaring Clinton the winner requires counting the votes of superdelegates, people who can change their minds up until the convention.
5 other states also hold contests today. Donald Trump's already the presumptive Republican nominee, and he's facing more criticism over what he said about a judge. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has this live.
Donald Trump has repeatedly accused Judge Gonzalo Curiel of bias, saying he can't be impartial in a legal case involving Trump University because his parents were born in Mexico, and Trump wants to build a wall along the border. Trump, on Fox's O'Reilly Factor last night, said the judge, who was born in Indiana, should recuse himself to eliminate doubt at court rulings.
I don't care if the judge is Mexican or not. I'm going to do great with the Mexican people because I provide jobs. So I don't care about Mexican. But we're being treated very unfairly.
A number of Republicans are urging Trump to back off that criticism of the judge, Dave.
Tanya, Colin's still a tropical storm, but it's not over Florida anymore.
Colin itself will move into the Atlantic, move near or along the southeast coast of the United States, and then go out to sea past the North Carolina coast sometime later today or tonight.
Jack Bevan at the National Hurricane Center says storm bands could still do more rain on Florida, and North Carolina could get up to 3 inches. Collins caused minor damage and knocked out power in some areas and flooded some roads. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Sunrise in Chicago, a nice start to the day. 57 degrees in Chicago at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Chicago police say a 6-year-old girl has been critically hurt in a shooting on the city's northwest side. It happened Monday night in the Logan Square neighborhood. The girl struck when a silver vehicle drove up and someone inside it opened fire. No one in custody after a northwest suburban Hanover Park man was killed in a shooting in Chicago's South Loop. Sammy Salema and another woman were shot early yesterday while they were sitting in a vehicle near 24th and Michigan. A judge tossing a lawsuit aimed at stopping a plan to close a Will County high school. Members of the Lincoln Way High School District 210 board voted last year to close Lincoln Way North. Area taxpayers sued, claiming the district's decision was rushed. School officials confirmed yesterday the suit has been tossed. Governor Rauner unleashing some insults, trashing some politicians, and criticizing schools. David Stewart reports Rauner's comments about the schools sparked a bit of a backlash yesterday.
In Chicago Monday, Rauner called Mayor Emanuel a disappointment for not fighting for Rauner's agenda, and Rauner also slammed Chicago schools.
Many of them are basically almost crumbling prisons.
Yet he vowed in remarks in Ottawa that long-term money for schools without reform is just a Chicago bailout.
Not fair to get a bailout for Chicago, hurting other taxpayers. We need more money in our schools for all schools, not just for Chicago.
Mayor Emanuel accused Rauner of divisive rhetoric.
Now it sounds like he's auditioning to be Donald Trump's running mate.
Rauner's Chicago school remarks did spark an internet flurry from Chicago parents, teachers, and children with the hashtag #NotAPrison. David Stewart, Chicago.
Are you looking for a business this morning, an opportunity that's part of movie memorabilia? Well, the Woodstock Bed and Breakfast that doubled as the Cherry Street Inn in 1993's Groundhog Day is for sale. $645,000. The Royal Victorian Manor was built in 1894 for a local judge. It has 8 bedrooms and 9 baths. The house was used for exterior shots of Bill Murray's character coming and going during his stay in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. Chicago sports, Cubs a Major League best 40-16 after a 6-4 win over the Phillies. The news service of CiCi's Pizza. Can you believe it? CiCi's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas, original pepperoni, pretzel, and new bacon stuffed. Try them all and your other CiCi's favorites for just $5 and change. The CiCi's buffet just got better. Believe it. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% head knowledge.
Dave Ramsey.
The reason you're in debt is behavior, not math. The way you get out of debt is behavior, change, not math. You can't borrow your way out of debt. How many times have you heard someone say, I had a whole bunch of credit card debt and I paid it off by getting a second mortgage? You didn't pay it off. You moved it.
The Dave Ramsey Show, weeknights starting at 7, right before Michael Medved at 10. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, let's get sentimental. Think about how much your father means to you. Now ask, what am I getting Dad for Father's Day on June 19th? It's weird, but did you know that 82% of all people don't know that you're supposed to change pillows every 2 years or less? That's because pillows absorb dead skin, dirt, skin, oils, and dust mites that can cause allergies, acne, asthma, and who knows what else. So if you haven't already done so, you need a washable MyPillow, and so does your dad. I may buy one for my dog Hunter. With a
Every time I watch the
warranty,
Oscars, I cringe when some
health investment
on
as
Dirty
well.
Jobs.
And you'll
I remember
sleep better. I do. That's why MyPillow is the official pillow of
Stop
1-800-489-0201.
that man is an American and born in the United States. Beyond it, even if he hadn't been. I mean, he's a judge who's earned that position, and in the end should be treated with the same level of respect as any other officer of the court. I don't think it reflects well on the Republican Party. I don't think it reflects well on us as a nation. I don't defend what he says. And all I can tell you is,
her husband,
I ran for president. I warned this is what was going to happen. I consistently said that, if he became a nominee, we would face.
I am partially shocked.
You were asking me about Hillary Clinton.
Companies we represent.
Had she been in the bathroom smoking crack?
Medication to control his cholesterol. A 10-year, $500,000.
I don't care if the judge is Mexican or not. I'm going to do great with the Mexican people because I provide jobs. So I don't care about Mexican. But we're being treated very unfairly, Bill. Very, very unfairly. I want to talk about how lousy the economy is. I want to talk about how badly we're doing against ISIS, how badly we're doing on the border. But every time I go into a show, all they want to do is talk about Trump University.
5125.
I was waiting to see him in uniform when he comes home.
5125.
He's coming home.
SelectQuote.com. We shop. You
but
say.
Not in uniform.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
It is 6:07 in our
I was waiting to see him in uniform when he comes home.
Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemont.
He's coming home.
Thanks, Mike. Eastbound Adams Tollway stop and go.
But
Roselle
not in
to
uniform.
Bussy. A crash just cleared there. Reagan Tollway. See delays from 83 onto the Eisenhower. Inbound Kennedy, heavy coming out of the River Road toll. 21 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 23. Edens is still fine. Down to Eisenhower. 42 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 32.
I want people to know how lighthearted yet passionate Mitchell was. He led by
83 and First Avenue to Kedzie, an hour and 6 minutes.
Mommy's right here.
Mommy's gone. 25 minutes downtown. I-57 is 32 minutes. I-80 to the merge.
Latinos for Trump. That's what I like.
CiCi's Pizza. Can you believe it? CiCi's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas. Original pepperoni, new pretzel, new bacon stuffed. Try them all and your other CiCi's favorites for just $5 and change. The CiCi's buffet just got better.
How about the rest of us? Right-wing and bitter, clinging, proud clingers of our guns.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, here is our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, cooler with sun and clouds, high 68. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 50. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 73. And tomorrow night, partly cloudy with a low of 55. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Sunshine, 57 at O'Hare, 55 in Aurora. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
According to the news, we are on the brink of a historic, unprecedented moment.
I don't care if the judge is Mexican or not. I'm going to do great with the Mexican people because I provide jobs. So I don't care about Mexican. But we're being treated very unfairly, Bill. Very, very unfairly.
He's revealing who he is. They have to ask themselves, morally, is this the man you want to be the leader of your party? And that's what's at stake here. That's why it's a bigger issue.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So I've got a question, Amy. Should high school girls, athletes, track and field athletes, who criticized a male student who identifies as a girl who advanced to the state finals in women's track and field, those girls who criticized the man identifying as a girl who took their place in the state finals, some of the girls that didn't make it and this dude did, should those who criticized her, be expelled for bigotry? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro, text line. Here's the story. High school girls in Alaska crying foul after a male sprinter took home all state honors in girls track and field. It was the first time in Alaska history that a male athlete competed in the girls state championship. Shows how forward-thinking Alaska is. I hope Illinois can get there someday. Haines High School senior Natafon Wangyat.
Wait, what's try that again?
Natafon Wangyat.
Common spelling?
Common, just like it sounds.
Natafon. That's the person's name, right?
He identifies as a girl. He advanced to the state finals in the 100-meter and the 200-meter events. He won 5th place in the 100-meter dash and 3rd place in the 200-meter. In both events, he competed against girls as young as 9th grade. He's a senior male.
Oh, my God.
One of the girls, Wangyat, beat out for a slot at the state event. Hutchinson High School runner Emma Daniels took issue with allowing a male athlete to compete in girls' events.
Dang right she did.
Said Miss Daniels, I'm glad this person is comfortable with who they are and they're able to be happy in who they are, but I don't think it's competitively completely 100% fair. So should, for example, Emma Daniels be expelled from high school for that intolerant, hateful, bigoted statement?
No, she shouldn't be, but there might be some grade retribution because she's not following the script. She's not a nonconformist in this one. She doesn't like what just happened. And I am on her side 100%. We cannot let this happen in Illinois. We shouldn't even be letting that happen in Alaska.
Peyton Young, who competed in a different event, she took a similar position. I don't know what's politically correct to say, but in my opinion, your gender is what you're born with. Should Peyton Young be expelled, perhaps imprisoned, for that statement?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro text or answer line, and our text line is 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. No, I don't think that there should be any retribution whatsoever against those two young ladies who are just fighting for a spot on the girls' team. Why in the world would they let that male student participate on the girls' track team? We just had city finals last weekend at Hanson Stadium. Coach boys and girls track, and they ran in separate. The whole meet was together, but they ran in separate events. And by no way or means would they let a male student run in the female category. Oh, they wouldn't? Well, first of all, there shouldn't be categories, as this commentator has advocated, and I'm glad to see Alaska taking my lead. There should be no male and female sports. How can there be? How can there be male and female sports if we don't have male and female bathrooms?
If we
so that's how it started.
No. If we don't have male and female.
Oh.
I mean, you go start your hashtag Chromosomes Matter campaign if you want, you bigot, Amy Jacobson. I am on the side of the angels saying, number one, these girls in Alaska who didn't celebrate Natafon Wangyat should be at minimum expelled, probably imprisoned for their bigotry and their intolerance. And number two, we should just eliminate the male-female sports. There is no male-female. So just eliminate the sports altogether. By the way, just so you know, Alaska policy, and I'm sure if Illinois, the IHSA has not adopted this, they soon will, and I cannot wait. For the purposes of gender identification for interscholastic activities, the district will consider the gender identity based on the student's consistent declaration of gender identity, their actions, attitude, dress, and mannerisms. Well, that sounds a little judgy, but I like where they're going. The consistent declaration of gender identity. Well, what is the threshold for consistency? I have to do it for a week? 2 weeks?
For 2 weeks? Do I have to have a female haircut? Do I have to act femi? Do I need to move my hands? I'm looking pictures right now of this Natafon Wang. Doesn't look really particularly girly to me.
Was that some kind of El D'Amato slur? Natafon Wangyat.
Okay, Natafon Wingat.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a picture of Natafong. And
he immigrated to Alaska from Thailand in 2014. And then he became a girl in his mind.
Did he have the operation?
I don't know. He self-identifies as a girl,
Oh,
so
no,
I suspect
no.
not.
See, that's the problem. If you're going to pretend to be a woman, you got to go all the way or you can't compete in women's sports.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Here's the other thing.
Just because you feel like a chick, of course he's going to dominate in that division. Look at his legs.
If you're going to pretend to be a woman, how do you finish
third in the 200 meter,
fifth in the 100, and third in the 200? You're running against freshman girls, dude.
Kick it up a notch. I wonder who his track coach was.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, blame the track coach.
Yeah. Let's see. Alaska Family Action President Jim Minery organized a protest.
Oh God.
We are here today as a voice from the community to ensure that female athletes are not denied the playing opportunities and scholarships otherwise available to them, and make the playing field even again. Bigot, hater, right? I mean, that's bigotry, isn't it?
No, this is our new reality now. This is scary because I know a lot of girls that worked very hard to make it to city finals or state finals in track, and I would be horrified if somebody I knew wasn't on the team because a man took her spot.
What are you talking about? He identifies as a girl, cannot question what comes from somebody's head. That is by definition truth, their truth at least, and that's good enough for us. So, yeah. I mean, you're a track and field coach, girls track and field coach. What do you think? Can't wait? What do you do?
I don't know. I'd have to do what I'd be told to do. I mean, if a boy said he's a girl and he wanted to participate in the 100 or 200,
I think
dash, I guess. My hands would be tied.
I think Usain Bolt, the Summer Olympics, he should run the 100-meter men's and women's. I mean, pile up the gold medals. Sometimes you feel like you have nuts, sometimes you don't. You know what I mean?
Oh, this is disgusting.
Mark,
but then look at what happened at Fremd High School. I mean, he joined the girls' gymnastics team.
Yeah.
Taking a spot away from somebody else who wanted to compete on the team. A girl on the girls' gymnastics team. What a crazy idea.
Mark in Libertyville, so antiquated. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Dan.
Mark.
Hey, Dan.
Yep, you're on.
Yeah, I'm still laughing at your sometimes you have nuts, sometimes you don't. That was a good one.
Thank you.
Hey, my comment that I mentioned your screener, but as you're going on this topic here, I just said because I'm a golfer, I thought, well, how would this translate if you had a man that now wants to play off the women's tee in professional golf?
Absolutely. That's
right. Golf being a sport that obviously is a big money sport, how does that change the dynamic of women's golf?
Well, the other thing is thanks for the call, Mark. The other thing, I mean, look, the LPGA courses are shorter and easier than the PGA
But are
courses.
they? I thought they don't play off the women's tees in LPGA. They play off the professional tees.
They're shorter and they're easier courses than the men's courses. Fact. Look it up.
Okay.
Look up the yardages.
I believe you.
But
Annika Sorensen, remember when she played in the men's tournament? She played off of their tees.
Yeah. How'd she do?
Well, she didn't do so well, but she showed up.
Yeah.
You know what, Dan? I hate to say this, but she played better than you.
Yeah. Well, she's a professional.
Yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah. What's the caliber? So,
yeah. She didn't break her shaft on her driver by losing her temper and putting a wedge into the bag.
She doesn't have anger management issues. Good for her. Here's the thing, though.
Yeah?
We should eliminate all of that. There is no women's tees. There is no women's golf. There's just golf.
Oh, yeah.
Shouldn't we just go that direction? Be completely non-discriminatory? Isn't that the way to go? Oh, on a related note, study from Infant and Child Development, scientific study done by researchers in Britain, finds this very interesting conclusion. They tested toy preferences for children aged 9 to 32 months during a free play session at their day nursery. The results appear to support the notion that boys and girls display gender-typed preferences before they are old enough to be aware of gender, and even in the absence of their parents who might otherwise influence them to play in a gender stereotype fashion. So in other words, it's innate. Brenda Todd and her team, this researcher, tested 47 girls and 54 boys at 4 multicultural nurseries in London. Each child was tested by a female researcher in a quiet area away from other children in the nursery. The child was surrounded in a semicircle by 7 toys identified in a local survey as being stereotypical male or stereotypical female. The researchers divided the children into 3 age groups, 9 to 17 months, 18 to 23 months, 24 to 32 months. At every age, there was a clear pattern. Boys showed more interest in and played for longer with male-type toys, and girls showed a similar bias for female-typed toys at ages not old enough to know what gender is.
Our guy girl, our Shim here, who won the track meet or came in 3rd and 5th, also played girls volleyball and girls basketball, but didn't really get noticed. This story didn't get noticed until he went to the state. Went to the state track finals.
Well, so maybe.
So she took other spots from.
Maybe he'll make it to the WNBA. That'd be great. By the way, quickly, North Carolina. North Carolina, the Alliance for Faith and Freedoms put out an ad trying to explain the North Carolina bathroom law.
Oh, yeah.
Now, listen up, because this is a very complicated issue.
Okay.
So let's see if you can understand the point of the North Carolina bathroom law that has Bruce Springsteen boycotting North Carolina and cowardly corporate CEOs, the PayPals and others boycotting North Carolina. See if you can wrap your head around what's happening in North Carolina, this bizarre law that they passed.
Richard's a boy. Jane's a girl. Richard always used the boys' room, and Jane used the girls'.
I'm already confused.
Some worried Richard might feel like a girl and use the girls' restroom, and Jane might feel like a boy and use the boys'. But what if the girls didn't want boys in their restroom, or the boys didn't want girls? So, big movie stars and business tycoons heard the story and made the issue a huge national mess. President Obama latched on, and well, you know the rest. When the only goal was to give Richard privacy in the boys' room and Jane privacy in the girls' room. Just like it's always been. We deserve privacy. Attorney General Roy Cooper should do his one job: defend North Carolina.
I mean, I know
that's so simple.
That's crazy talk.
Yes.
So I'm sorry. Did she say like boys want privacy in the boys' room and girls want?
It's old-fashioned, but I like it.
I'm gonna have to take a break to wrap my head around that. It's just it's so bizarre. It's so unusual to me. I'm trying to assimilate. I'm just having difficulty.
She sounds hideous.
Well, she's a guy, so.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine right now and cooler temperatures. It is 56 degrees at O'Hare right now, going up to a high of 68 degrees. And then tomorrow, another gorgeous day, sunny skies, no rain in the forecast. A high tomorrow of 73 degrees. Let's get those travel times. So we had a sink, and now we have a carpet. Has that been rolled up, Jim Talamonte?
It has, Amy. No more carpet rolls on the Bishop Ford Freeway. And the inbound delays aren't bad on the Bishop Ford. 20 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan, but I-57 is brutal. It's Jan from the Tri-State all the way to the Ryan. 42 minutes from I-80 to the Merge. And the Ryan is 33 minutes from 95th to downtown. Eden's 22 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. The Kennedy, 23 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 25. The Eisenhower, 51 minutes Thorndale to the post office, outbound 39. Stevenson is really rough. An hour and 6 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Delays start at 1:26. It's 42 minutes from the Tri-State to Lakeshore Drive. Eastbound Adams Tollway, very slow from Barrington Road to Bussey thanks to an earlier crash. And the Reagan Tollway, heavy delays from Myers to the Eisenhower. Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
If you have a new or existing business, understanding building and zoning codes, obtaining permits, licenses, and inspections can be a time-consuming nightmare. Well, I got a guy. I should say a fine company. Premier Consulting Group, and my friend Bill Gritsonis is the company to call. From city and suburban retail business to residential and high-rise building permits, PCG holds your hand from the beginning to the very end. Bill and his veteran team have decades of experience and a commitment to meeting client needs. Your business will benefit from expedited permits and the peace of mind knowing that your business is in complete compliance. So I highly suggest you call my guy, Bill Gritsonis, and his team at Premier Consulting Group before your next project. Call Bill Gritzonis at 312-263-4599 or visit PCGConsultingInc.com. That number, 312-263-4599 or online at PCGConsultingInc.com. Call Bill Gritzonis at 312-263-4599 or visit PCGConsultingInc.com.
Listen to what Dave Ryan says about Andro 400.
Andro 400, I really love it. It's amazing to me that I feel so good. I've lost 50 pounds. I was a size 38 waist. I've gone down to a 32 waist. My mood has changed. I don't get stressed out. It gave me so much more energy to walk, energy to play sports. Everything is starting to work again, and it feels like I'm 25. My wife is happy. I'm so happy. I'm just a completely different man. I'm taking this stuff to the grave with me.
Men, have you lost energy and gained belly fat? Are you feeling stressed out? Fight back with Andro 400, the safe, natural, and inexpensive way to increase your testosterone. For over a decade, Andro 400 has helped men lose belly fat, gain energy, and feel 20 years younger. Go to andro400.com. andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
Are you or someone you know facing foreclosure? Losing the family home? Well, you'd be not alone, so please listen to this. There are a lot of issues in a foreclosure, legal issues, factual issues. Dozens so far, and more coming to light every day. You see, people, we are in the aftermath of what will go down in history as the greatest financial crime in history, from which a lot of people profited immensely. And these people did not always do things entirely legally. That is a foregone conclusion. I'm Lou Bridges. I put together a law firm dedicated to foreclosure defense and to avoiding foreclosure by working with the banks, based on a thorough examination and analysis of all the potential issues and questions. And we have surrounded ourselves with people equally committed to this pursuit of justice.
Call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231. Or visit FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. That's FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. Get real answers from a real foreclosure defense firm and discover the legal tools at your disposal.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy. So, Amy, the Twinkie that owned the Playboy Mansion sold it to the Twinkie magnate.
Yeah, they're buying the 20,000 square foot mansion, but there's a little bit of a catch. Hugh Hefner?
Yeah, that ghastly old lady that owns the mansion.
No, Hugh Hefner, the man, he hasn't had a sex change operation yet, and he's not going to because he's a man's man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Original philanderer.
He a scumbag is what he is.
Part of the deal is he remains in the house until he dies.
Well,
now he's in his 90s now, so I don't know how much longer he's going to live. Actually, he's 90 years old, so he has to live in that for the rest of his life.
Oh, that's good.
And the house was listed at $200 million, but the final sale price has not been disclosed. But yes, the Twinkies maker is buying the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah, a guy named Metropolis.
What could
Darren
go
Metropolis,
wrong? Yes,
the Playboy Mansion. Oh, yeah, so iconic.
Have you ever been?
No, I have not.
Yeah, okay. What about the one in Chicago?
I heard it's a dump too.
Really?
I heard it's it's in disrepair, and you've got a doddering old fool with a
walking around in a robe
and a skipper cap, kind of lech
with chicks hanging all over him. Which, by
hanging
the way,
all over him.
Which, by the way,
please.
That's just for show.
Yeah,
that's not a real relationship. Just in case.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's for the show.
It's also ghastly. Now, on the other hand, this is uplifting.
Yes.
I'd like to introduce you to the first Vietnamese female billionaire.
Oh.
And you know how Miss Nguyen Thi Pong Thao made her $1 billion?
Don't ask me to repeat that name.
Weren't those the pilots flying that plane? And
me fly too low? Holy.
Hey.
What the?
Vietjet Airs she's the owner of Vietjet Air, an airline in Vietnam that is about to go public, boosting the 45-year-old Tao's fortune to $1.37 billion. You know what the interesting thing about that Vietjet Air is?
What?
The flight attendants all wear bikinis.
Oh, seriously? I hope they have on white gloves. I mean, it's a health issue, right?
Note to self, go to Orbitz, book flight to Vietnam.
We have new information now also on the plane crash. KTVU has just learned the names of the 4 pilots who were on board the flight. They are Captain Sum Ting Wong, Wee Tu Lo, Ho Lee and Bang Ding Ao. The NTSB has confirmed these are the names of the pilots on board Flight 214 when it crashed.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
World, say hello to some old friends. It's been a long time, but they remember you. They're my toes, and they've been hidden ever since I got nail fungus. Yeah, nail fungus. I know, embarrassing, right? Really ugly stuff that I just couldn't get rid of. Tried several doctors, took pills, creams, even considered surgery. Of course, with that, you lose your nail, and there's no guarantee that the fungus won't come back. So I tried Clear Touch. Clear Touch is a little handheld device you use at home. It's painless because it uses light. Yes, light to travel fast and deep. Can't believe I went so long hiding my toes when this simple, inexpensive solution was waiting right there at Clear Touch. Clear Touch is even cleared by the FDA because it's safe and works. Yeah, my toes saw the light. So, world, I'd appreciate it if you could pass the word about Clear Touch, the phototherapy solution that works. Call 800-279-7573. That's 800-279-7573. That's 800-279-7573 or cleartouchnails.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Does Newt Gingrich have the inside track to be Trump's VP? We'll discuss with Sean Trendy, senior elections analyst at RealClearPolitics.com at 6:36.
And later, maybe they should have killed that gorilla anyway in Cincinnati. Parents not charged, and we'll tell you why and why I've changed my mind. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Outside, sunshine and 58 degrees. Hillary Clinton reportedly has the delegate support she needs for the Democratic presidential nomination.
According to the news, we are on the brink of a historic, unprecedented moment. But we still have work to do, don't we?
Clinton looks to extend her lead in the delegate count later today as voters in 6 states cast their ballots. However, Bernie Sanders said to delegates last night, not so fast.
To all of the Democratic delegates going to Philadelphia, in every instance, we beat Trump by far larger margins than does Hillary Clinton.
Sanders called the California contest the most important race in the nominating process and says higher voter turnout will bring him a win. Tropical storm Colin blowing through Florida. It made landfall in the Panhandle around 2 a.m., packing 50-mile-an-hour winds. Chicago police say a 6-year-old girl has been critically injured in a shooting on the northwest side. It happened around 8 last night outside of a home in the Logan Square neighborhood. More than a dozen school superintendents have penned a letter to Republican Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner accusing him of playing politics with education funding. The school leaders include those from Chicago, Peoria, and East Moline. State officials confirmed the first human case of West Nile virus in the state. The Department of Public Health saying the adolescent in West Central Illinois became ill with the virus late last month. Cubs a Major League best 40-16. John Lester the win, and the Cubs 6-4 victors over Philadelphia. The news service of CiCi's Pizza. Can you believe it? CiCi's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas. Original pepperoni, new pretzel, and new bacon stuffed. Try them all and your other CiCi's favorites for just $5 and change. The CiCi's buffet just got better. Believe it. 6:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher doesn't want to hear any more talk of a contested convention.
More and more Americans who would vote Republican or independent are gravitating to Donald Trump. With all due respect to the maybe Mitt Romney crowd, please don't stub your toe anymore. You guys have stubbed your toes on this stuff enough. You've been wrong over and over again. Please try to stop being so wrong.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
LiveWatch helps you connect and respond up to 10 times faster in an emergency. LiveWatch has no long-term contracts. Save up to 50% off home security. Call 855-LiveWatch or visit LiveWatch.com.
Cutting edge,
That's a concept companies strive to achieve in the world of custom packaging, design, and vendor-managed inventory. Infinity Packaging is the cutting-edge leader. If your company is cutting-edge, then Infinity Packaging is your best choice. From stock and custom corrugated boxes and mailers, to film, bags, tubes, labels, and specialized inserts, no packaging challenge is too cutting-edge for Infinity. Plus, a high level of service and customer contact and multiple warehouse locations truly make Infinity Packaging a premier packaging and warehousing leader nationwide. You'll receive the benefits and savings of big company purchasing power with the advantages of a small company approach to service. To learn more or schedule your company's packaging analysis, call Infinity Packaging at 847-786-2002 or visit infinitypkg.com. That's 847-786-2002 or online at infinitypkg.com. Infinity Packaging, the cutting-edge leaders in custom packaging, design, and warehousing.
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years. Really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. After 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this, and, early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. Your products have made my life. They have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
6:36. Let's get an update on the roads at our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Like I-55 and I-57 are simply awful. Stevenson has delays starting at 1:26. It is an hour and 18 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, 56 minutes from the Tri-State. I-57 delays starting at I-80. 47 minutes from I-80 to the merge, and the ride is 36 minutes from 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford much better. Just about a 5-minute delay starting at 103rd. Eden's 22 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 19. The Kennedy, 26 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. About Eisenhower, 51 minutes from Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 44. Tollways, northbound Tri-State heavy from the 83rd Street toll to LaGrange Road. Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue, Adams Tollway jam, Higgins to Bussey and Lee to the River Road Toll, Reagan Tollway from Highland to the Tri-State. Traffic Services, CC's Pizza, can you believe it? CC's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas. Original pepperoni, new pretzel, and new bacon stuffed. Try them all and your other CC's favorites for just $5 and change. The CC's buffet just got better. Believe it. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Cooler day ahead. Sun and clouds in your forecast. High near 68. Clear to partly cloudy and 50 overnight. 57 at O'Hare. 59 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by All Seasons Pool and Spa Outdoor Living Expo, June 24th in Orland Park. Visit aspools.com for details.
To voters, November, and the hope to unify the party around a substantive plan of governance will include things like welfare reform, which is something Paul Ryan's been working on for many years. According to a report in the Washington Examiner, the 35-page report uses stats, graphs, charts to underscore the GOP's belief that current welfare policy is expensive and ineffective and is leading to bigger welfare rolls without doing anything to encourage people to get back to the workforce. Yeah.
All right, then I don't have to read it anymore.
Yeah, no kidding. Boy, yeah, this just in.
Real page turner.
But
that's a good point, though.
There's legitimate things to do, though, in advance of that statement of principle. Like, for example, HUD spends $45 billion on 85 different programs where there's virtually no accountability and virtually much redundancy. So things like that. Also, Jeb Hensarling is giving a speech this morning. He's the House Financial Services Committee chairman, part of the GOP's A Better Way agenda, as it's being termed. And he is going to talk this morning at the Economic Club of New York, where he is going to say the GOP wants economic growth for all and bank bailouts for none. So the too big to fail going by the boards, at least according to what is going to be rolled out this morning from the GOP. And now,
and the big news while you were sleeping.
Well, but one other thing.
Yes.
So that's going on the Republican side, while Trump is tripling down on his Trump University class action litigation and telling his surrogates to continue to waylay Judge Gonzalo Curiel for being unfair to Trump, as well as to continue going after the Washington Press Corps, the latter of which is more appealing to me. But not exactly on the same track in terms of the congressional GOP and their party's nominee.
Yeah, but would there be party unity if he just stops talking about the judge? Here he is last night on Bill O'Reilly.
I don't care if the judge is Mexican or not. I'm going to do great with the Mexican people because I provide jobs. So I don't care about Mexican. But we're being treated very unfairly, Bill. Very, very unfairly.
The party may be...
A statement, a historic statement about what kind of country we are.
Yeah. So there's the dynamic in this race to the bottom we call the 2016 presidential election.
Yeah, but
in
while
the last
people
24 hours.
Right, but while people were sleeping, Hillary Clinton became the Democratic Party's presumptive nominee.
Yeah.
First woman in history to become a major party's nominee. How do you want to celebrate today?
For more on this, let's celebrate with Sean Trendy.
Yes.
Sean Trendy, senior elections analyst at RealClearPolitics.com. Sean, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. So what about that, the dynamic between congressional Republicans and Trump? As Krauthammer said on Special Report yesterday, what you see from Trump with respect to Judge Curiel, this is not a bug. This is a feature. This is who Trump is. This is what you're going to get. And congressional Republicans, including those who've fallen in line, better just get used to it. So if the dynamic is going to be Paul Ryan's policy agenda versus Donald Trump's bloviations for the next 5 months, how do you think that plays out, if at all?
Well, look, I think Trump is probably going to lose. But at the same time, I think people have to understand that the American people aren't really looking for 10-point policy plans right now. Right. That's not how they vote for president. And this is kind of a presidential election that's about two unpopular candidates, seeing who can be the least unpopular. Not about welfare reform.
Right.
All right. Well, today, for me as a woman, I don't like Hillary Clinton, and I wish it was another woman.
But it
is a big deal.
Can we remove that phrase, as a woman, as a fill-in-the-blank, gender, race, orientation, identity, as this, as that? As a cisgendered male, I have this question about Newt Gingrich. It's so silly.
No, it's not silly. I don't think so. I mean, Hillary Clinton, it's a big deal, but she doesn't want to celebrate yet because they're saying mission hasn't been accomplished because we have 6 elections today, 6 primaries in different states. And how do you think she's going to do in California? There's been varying polls where she was ahead, she was behind. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, it's hard to say because the polls are really close. They almost all show her up, but they show Sanders with momentum and having closed it to about a 2-point Clinton lead right now. So probably still put a thumb on the scale for Clinton, but if Sanders were to win, you'd want the polls to be doing what they're doing now. So it's a tough. I'd say maybe it's a coin toss. But if I'm forced to choose, I'd say Clinton.
But it doesn't the news that she's got the requisite number of delegates dampen potential enthusiasm for Sanders today?
I don't think so. I mean, she's been pretty much the presumptive. I mean, everyone's known she's going to be. Well, not everyone. Most people have known she's going to be the nominee for a long time now, and it hasn't stopped the Sanders folk. I think they're committed, and I think as long as, even Barack Obama lost primaries on the last day in 2008, so I don't think that's going to change things.
So Bernie rejects the notion that she's secured the top spot. He has said so, in different social media platforms. Do you think he'll take this to the convention? I mean, he says that he will, but I know that President Obama called him over the weekend. He wouldn't disclose that conversation, but how far do you think he's going to go?
I think this is probably it. I think there's part of him that wants to wait around and see if there's an indictment or anything else that goes poorly for Secretary Clinton. But at the same time, I think, I'm not convinced, but I think he's more likely to try to unify because I think he recognizes from the Democratic perspective, from the liberal perspective, Trump is the greater evil.
Now, speaking of Trump, some indications that maybe Newt Gingrich has the pole position when it comes to his vice presidential running mate, and not because he brings anything to the ticket in terms of regional or demographic support, but because he brings Sheldon Adelson to the table with $100 million. And Gingrich is respected inside the Beltway by the donor class for his knowledge and obviously his experience as Speaker of the House. But wouldn't that be, I mean, what kind of pick is that when you're going to satisfy your major donor? You're going to do it for the money, but not necessarily for any identifiable political advantage.
Yeah, I mean, the presidential nominee shouldn't have trouble with money, right? I mean, people gave $1 billion to Mitt Romney and a similar amount to Barack Obama. So it's not a good sign that that's why he's making his vice presidential pick.
Well, who do you think it will? Do you think it will be Newt Gingrich?
I mean,
what are you hearing?
Well, more to the point, who provides potentially the most upside for either candidate or both candidates, because they both have so many needs. You could go a lot of different directions.
Yeah, I think with Trump, he needs someone. Well, he's someone that I just always get wrong, right? I mean, and you have to kind of stop and say, well, you want to say he needs kind of a well-respected, a grown-up, if you will, and yet his candidacy has flourished with him being who he is. So maybe he needs someone like Chris Christie, who is a grown-up, but kind of reinforces that outsider, brash image. For Clinton, she doesn't have a whole lot of choices because the Democrats have been kind of hollowed out by Republicans over the past couple of midterm election cycles. I think a dark horse candidate is Sherrod Brown of Ohio, who's very liberal, probably similar to Bernie Sanders in ideology, and comes from a swing state.
But what about Bernie Sanders supporters? I mean, they want to see him. I heard a few people saying that they want to see him as the VP. There's no way that's going to happen, right?
No, I don't think she'd put that. I don't think she'd put Sanders on. That's why I think Sherrod Brown of Ohio or maybe Elizabeth Warren is kind of an outreach to the Sanders folks, saying, "Look, I meant it when I tacked left in the primary."
So, thinking of a down ballot, because you have certainly the Senate in play, probably less so the House, but some people predicting the apocalypse with Trump or suggesting the House is in play as well. You're a numbers guy. What's your sense of kind of the down ballot potential impact of Hillary and Trump, or in these target races where so much money is spent both in the Senate and the House, and people really know who the candidates are? Do they make independent decisions between president and Senate and their local House member?
Well, we had talked about the Trumpocalypse a lot in the Republican primary season, but I mean, look, he's within 2 points of Hillary Clinton in the polling. This isn't right now looking like it's going to be a 10 or 15 point blowout that would drag down the ticket down ballot. It's a very good question if it does turn into that, whether people would split their tickets. In past blowouts, people have split their ballots. Split ticketing has tended to disappear, but my sense is that we'll see a resurgence of it.
All right. He is Sean Trendy, Senior Elections Analyst at RealClearPolitics.com. Sean, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And as a man,
yes,
I'm happy that Sean, because he's also a man, could join us.
Yeah, and he joined us on the Manly Turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Plenty of sunshine today. A few high clouds, no big deal. It's 58 degrees right now. Pretty cool from what we're used to. Going up to a high today of 68 degrees. And tomorrow, mostly sunny and pleasant. No rain in the forecast yet again, and a high of 73 degrees. Let's get the travel times and an update of junk on the roadways. A sink, a carpet. What do we have now, Jim Telemonte?
Thankfully, nothing new in that department, Amy, but there are some really heavy delays on some of the expressways. The Eisenhower is now an hour and 3 minutes from Thorndale to downtown, 43 minutes from Manheim. And outbound, looking at 50 minutes to Thorndale. There's a crash at 294 on the left shoulder. Eden's 31 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 22. At Kennedy, 32 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 43. Stevenson is a mess. Delays starting at 126. An hour and 18 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 56 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound 41 minutes to 355. The Ryan, 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 47 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishop 425. Northbound Tri-States, though, Southwest Highway to LaGrange Road, the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Adams Tollway heavy, Reagan Tollway really slow from the Aurora Toll to 59, and Highland all the way to the Tri-State. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Everyone is making predictions about who Donald Trump will pick as his vice presidential running mate. We were just doing it. And here at AM 560, we're raising the stakes a little bit. Check this out. If you correctly guess Donald Trump's running mate, you could win $560. That's right. Enter our $560 Veep Stakes contest between now and June 24th. And if your prediction is correct, you could win $560 and a $50 gift card from the Trump Winery. Two easy ways to enter. You can fire up the AM 560 mobile app on your smartphone and enter the contest that way, or go to 560theanswer.com/Trump to enter online. It's that easy. Complete rules are online at 560theanswer.com/Trump. Enter today. It's going to be huge.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Google with a setback in the Supreme Court. Interest rate hikes appear to be on hold, and American Airlines changing frequent flyer rules. Those stories next.
Hey, Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. What if you could store your IRA or your 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in person in the form of physical gold and silver coins? I know I would, and you can't do that with stocks. But with the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can see them anytime. Free shipping, zero management fees, and Augusta pays all upfront costs. Getting started is absolutely free. Rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau, enjoys a 98% 5-star satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. You can trust Augusta. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993 now for your free guide to Augusta Gold IRAs. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. Or visit AugustaPreciousMetals.com.
Today, we'll have economic reports on productivity and consumer credit. Investors on Wall Street continuing to react to Fed Chair Janet Yellen's suggestion interest rates may not be raised at next week's meeting of the Federal Reserve. And in a blow to Google, the Supreme Court has ruled it will not hear an appeal from the internet giant over a class action lawsuit filed by advertisers who say Google displayed their ads on lower quality websites. American Airlines following the pattern set by Delta and United, rewarding customers who pay the most, not those who fly the most miles. Starting in August, American will award points to customers based on the price of their tickets. The Iowa Utilities Board has green-lighted a new oil pipeline in the state. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Dan Proft here. June is Men's Health Awareness Month. Finally, it's here. Guys, don't put off things you can accomplish today, especially when it comes to your health. If you're like me, you hate going to the doctor, but if you knew your appointment would take less than an hour and that you could feel better and have more energy, you'd probably make it a priority. That's what Low T Center can do for you. They make it easy to get your levels checked. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with their in-house certified lab, you'll know your results within 20 minutes.
Can I go now? Because I feel like a man today.
You may. If you've noticed, you may feel uncomfortable, but I'm sure they would welcome you. If you've noticed a decline in energy, stamina, or libido, you may have low testosterone. Low T levels make you feel tired and grumpy. It can raise your cholesterol and weight. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. At Low T Center, it takes just minutes for results, and their services are covered by most health insurance. Make your health a priority and call Low T Center at 630-581-5171. Tell them Dan Proft sent you. That's me. That number, 630-581-5171, or go to lowtcenter.com.
I have some fantastic home mortgage news today. It's actually getting easier to obtain a home mortgage, and Townstone Financial can help you get it done. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Whether you're shopping for your first home or looking for a dream house, I want you to know that since 2002, Townstone Financial has been making the home mortgage process seem like a day at the beach. You have my word for it, and I own the company, that choosing Townstone as your trusted mortgage advisor not only means your loan will close on time, but it will be painless. Today is one of the best times to purchase a home in almost 7 years. Interest rates are still near historical lows, and you definitely don't need a large down payment or perfect credit. It doesn't matter if you're searching for a jumbo mortgage, FHA, VA, or even a reverse mortgage. I guarantee nobody's going to beat Townstone's interest rates and low closing costs. So give us a call now at 312-896-2111, because nobody values your home purchase business more than Townstone. That's 312-896-2111, or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal housing
housing lender.
I'm Dan Proft with an Upstream idea brought to you by the Illinois Opportunity Project. 27. Illinois state employees, on average, receive total compensation 27% higher than their private sector counterparts. State employees made nearly $4,000 more in wages and $13,000 in benefits than private sector employees. More than half of state workers will retire before the age of 60 with a guaranteed state pension. The state is in a financial death spiral with ground impact imminent. So keep this in mind as Governor Bruce Rauner breaks off contract talks with AFSCME, the state's largest public sector union. AFSCME has been unwilling to give on its demands for annual step increases of 3.8%, in addition to annual general wage increases. The lowball estimate of the cost of what AFSCME demands is $1.6 billion. That's $1.6 billion more from Illinois families who already pay the highest property taxes in the nation. This is Governor Rauner's moment of truth. He ran for office saying he is not a politician. He said he is a businessman who will make the difficult decisions to turn around the state he loves. We're about to find out if that's true. For more Upstream ideas, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
Psoriasis and vitiligo are serious diseases. You've tried everything and have been disappointed. Now there's X-Track, a breakthrough treatment that provides long-lasting, safe relief. X-Track is FDA cleared for the treatment of psoriasis and vitiligo and is endorsed by thousands of dermatologists and hospitals because it works. Clinical studies show immediate results with up to 95% clearance. The in-office visits are fast, painless, with virtually no side effects. With thousands of providers treating patients all over the country, X-Track is covered by all major insurance companies and Medicare. We'll help you find a doctor close by, and there is no cost to you until you see results. Get your life back. Live free. Live X-Track clear.
For your no-cost treatment, call now 800-972-3143. That's 800-972-3143. 800-972-3143 or visit xtracradio.com. Qualified patients, certain restrictions apply, results may vary.
CertaPro painters are here for every stage of your life, from moving into a new home, creating the ideal nursery, to reinventing your living space. CertaPro painting experts create the perfect setting while you do life. They came to our home and brightened our walls and our moods so very quiet they wouldn't wake a baby. But the best part? They clean up after themselves so you don't have to do it. And now that spring is here, it is the perfect time to spruce up your home's exterior. Take a look at your home. Do you see chipping, peeling, fading? Well, leave it to CertaPro painting experts to refresh, renew, and protect your biggest investment, your home. Now is the time to call for your free estimate and schedule your exterior painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com today, CertaPro.com. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
If you have a new or existing business, understanding building and zoning codes, obtaining permits, licenses, and inspections can be a time-consuming nightmare. Well, I got a guy. I should say a fine company. Premier Consulting Group, and my friend Bill Gritsonis is the company to call. From city and suburban retail business to residential and high-rise building permits, PCG holds your hand from the beginning to the very end. Bill and his veteran team have decades of experience and a commitment to meeting client needs. Your business will benefit from expedited permits and the peace of mind knowing that your business is in complete compliance. So I highly suggest you call my guy, Bill Gritsonis, and his team at Premier Consulting Group before your next project. Call Bill Gritsonis at 312-263-4599 or visit PCGconsultinginc.com. That number, 312-263-4599, or online at PCGconsultinginc.com. Call Bill Gritsonis at 312-263-4599 or visit PCGconsultinginc.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Rauner calls Tiny Dancer the biggest disappointment of his first year and a half in office, and the fight over funding for the schools. That's at 7:07.
And later, Gorilla World opens today without Arambe. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a 6-year-old girl critically hurt in a Northwest Side shooting overnight. Judge tosses a lawsuit against the closing of a Will County high school. First human case of West Nile is confirmed in the state. The Cubs beat the Phillies. A cooler day ahead, times of sun and clouds. Complete look at weather after Fox News. WIND Chicago News Time, 7.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. She's on the brink.
But we still have work to do, don't we?
Hillary Clinton not declaring victory yet as 6 more states hold contests today, even though She apparently already has enough delegates for the Democrat nomination. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
Well, by the Associated Press's count, Hillary Clinton has commitments from 2,383 delegates. That's the number needed to become the presumptive Democratic nominee. Bernie Sanders argues the superdelegates shouldn't be counted since they don't formally cast their votes until the convention, and he ruled out a concession.
There's nothing to concede. Secretary Clinton will not have the requisite number of pledged delegates.
Now, Clinton has 571 superdelegates. Sanders has 48. Voters in California, New Mexico, New Jersey, Montana, and South Dakota go to the polls today. There are caucuses in North Dakota, Dave.
Tanya, today's primaries don't matter for Donald Trump. He's already the presumptive Republican nominee, facing more criticism for his claim the judge overseeing the Trump University fraud case may be biased against him because even though he's born in Indiana, his parents are Mexican.
Senator Kelly Ayotte of New Hampshire is asking Donald Trump to retract his remarks about Judge Gonzalo Curiel. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina is encouraging Republicans to withdraw their endorsements. And Newt Gingrich, the former Speaker of the House, said when you begin to question a judge's ability to do his or her job because of their race or ethnicity, you, quote, begin to destroy America.
The Fox's John Roberts outside Trump Tower in New York. Colin now aiming for the North Carolina coast, crossing Florida.
The wind just blew everything.
A tropical storm did some minor damage, caused some flooding, knocked out power in Florida. Could still dump 3 inches of rain or more from North Florida into Georgia and the Carolinas. A bombing during rush hour in Istanbul, Turkey. It hit a bus full of riot police. 7 officers were killed, so were 4 civilians. 36 people were wounded. No claim of responsibility yet. Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies, 56 degrees in spots. Sun throughout the morning, mixing with those clouds. 7:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, everyone. Chicago police tell us a 6-year-old girl has been critically hurt. It happened in a shooting outside the city's Logan on the northwest side, outside a home in the Logan Square neighborhood. That girl shot in the back around 8:10 p.m. last night. A judge tossing a lawsuit aimed at stopping a plan to close a Will County high school. Members of the Lincoln Way High School District 210 board voted last year to close Lincoln Way North High School. A group of area taxpayers sued, claiming the district's decision was rushed. School officials yesterday confirmed the suit has been dismissed. Police have charged a registered sex offender with trying to take pictures of a child inside a Wrigley Field bathroom Saturday afternoon. Police say 37-year-old Nicholas Gregor of Villa Park took out a camera standing next to a boy at a ballpark urinal. Police say Gregor has a previous conviction for a similar crime. That happened during that investigation in DuPage County, police found collections of child pornography in his home. Chicago Public Schools, the target of some harsh criticism made by Governor Bruce Rauner.
Many of them are basically almost crumbling prisons. They're not a place that a young person should be educated.
Mayor Rahm Emanuel responded to Rauner's comments, saying it sounds like Rauner is auditioning to be a Donald Trump running mate. State health officials confirmed the first human case of West Nile virus in the state. The Department of Public Health saying an adolescent in west central parts of the state became ill with the virus late last month. Cubs, a major league best, 40-16. John Lester the win and a 6-4 triumph over the Phillies. The news service of Napa Auto Parts. Get Pennzoil conventional oil for just $3.39 a quart this month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. That's Napa know-how while supplies last. General States pricing. Sale prices do not include applicable state or local taxes or recycling fees. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It's the question that's on everyone's mind this election season. Who will Donald Trump pick as his vice presidential running mate?
This is what the people want.
Well, if you think you know the answer, you could win $560.
Believe me.
Enter AM 560's Veep Stakes contest. If you correctly predict Trump's running mate, you're eligible to win the cash prize and a $50 gift card from the Trump Winery.
Mark my words.
You can enter on the AM 560 mobile app or go to 560theanswer.com/Trump and enter today.
It's common sense.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-467-5125. That's 1-800-467.
Many of them are basically almost crumbling prisons.
467-5125. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
7:05 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. The latest on your morning commute. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, traffic is now stop and go all the way in from O'Hare. It's 40 minutes from the airport to downtown. Outbound 52 minutes. Eden's 28 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 26. Eastbound Eden Spur delays start at Waukegan Road. The Eisenhower's an hour and 6 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. 48 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 53 to Thorndale. Inbound Stevenson, an hour and 13 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 41 minutes. There's also a crash before 355 in the two left lanes at Veterans Parkway. Ryan, 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 47 minutes. I-80 to the merge, Bishop 429. Tri-State Tollway delays are northbound, the 83rd Street toll to LaGrange Road, Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue, Adams Tollway stop and go Higgins to 53, Arlington Heights Road to Bussey and Toohey onto the Kennedy, Reagan Tollway from the Aurora Toll to 59 and 53 to the Tri-State, Veterans Memorial Boughton to Roosevelt, the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Sun and clouds for today with a high 68. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 50. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 73. And at night, partly cloudy with a low 55. Clouds and sun Thursday with a shower or thunderstorm around, high of 80. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently sunshine, 56 degrees. Next news update at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
According to the news, we are on the brink of a historic, unprecedented moment.
I don't care if the judge is Mexican or not. I'm going to do great with the Mexican people because I provide jobs. So I don't care about Mexican. But we're being treated very unfairly, Bill. Very, very unfairly.
He's revealing who he is. They have to ask themselves, morally, is this the man you want to be the leader of your party? And that's what's at stake here. That's why it's a bigger issue.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So a little closer to home, with no budget, Governor Rohnert has hit the trail to make his case around the state for what he has proposed, which is basically a stopgap measure so that there is funding for the schools, so that those schools that are heavily reliant on state funding, more heavily reliant than others, are able to open on time and sustain their opening. Greeted by protesters in Ottawa yesterday, press conference, and is being criticized for a statement that he made about some of our schools.
Many of them are basically almost crumbling prisons.
Crumbling prisons.
Yeah,
and
they're
that's
pretty bad.
Well, and it turns out that
hanging ceiling tiles. That's what I always say. Watch out! Don't let it fall on your head.
It turns out that that's true. Actually, Kyle Hillman, who's a left-wing lobbyist down in Springfield, posted pictures of the school in his neighborhood in Chicago that look worse than a crumbling prison, actually. And suggesting that what Bruce Rohnert is saying is not inaccurate. It's sad, but it's not inaccurate. And it also speaks to, what the hell has Tiny Dancer and Tiny Dancer Toady Forrest Claypool. What
have they been spending money on?
What have they been doing? What has CPS been doing for generation after generation after generation? Here's the deal.
They've been robbing taxpayers and making it worse for our children. Because you're right. All the money that have been raised through property taxes and all other sorts of taxes has done nothing to help the infrastructure of the school.
So the question is, with respect to this budget impasse and with respect to concern about an agreement to at least fund schools in the short term, where do you ascribe the responsibility? Is it mainly Rauner? Is it mainly Madigan? Is it all of the above? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. I'll tell you where 14 superintendents, including Tiny Dancer Toady Claypool, ascribe the blame. The governor. They sent him a letter yesterday that reads, Dear Casey. No, Dear Governor Rauner.
Today I lost my dog, Bucky.
Without funding that recognizes the needs of all of our students, the majority of school districts in Illinois will not be able to open their doors this fall, and many others will not be able to stay open for long. Illinois has the most regressive funding system in the country. The formula is broken. Formula the Democrats created. And both parties have abided for decades. Not the guy who showed up 15 months ago, by the way. Yet, despite collective agreement on this from across the state, including your own acknowledgement of the fact, you continue to push proposal that puts more money into the worst in the nation K-12 funding system in the same way. Puts more money. That's an operative phrase. Instead of suggesting reforms that reflect the economic diversity of Illinois, your proposal continues to put a greater burden on the district supporting our most vulnerable citizens. As superintendents, we stand united in saying that Illinois can never fund its education system in the same way, and we urge you to work with all the members of the General Assembly on a solution that fully and equitably funds all the districts in your state.
NMLS 131.
Exactly. Here are the superintendents. Yes. See if your illustrious superintendent is on the list. You know, one that's looking at probably between a $2 and $10 million pension. Doctor. Let's just. Carmen Ayala from Berwyn, District 98. Donaldo Batiste from Waukegan. Forrest Claypool, Tony Dancer Toady. Jeff Craig, West Aurora 129. Gregory Firstino, Taylorville, Consolidated 3. Jennifer Garrison, Sandoval. Mike Gouch, Harrisburg. Granite City, Berwyn South. Ben Martindale from North Chicago Community Unit School District. I loved when he hosted Tic-Tac-Doe.
That's right.
Oh, that was Wink Martindale.
That was Wink Martin.
And so on and so forth. So some suburban superintendents, downstate superintendents, and Tiny Dancer Toady. Here's the data. The data for the superintendents don't want to address. Manhattan Institute study. Between 2001 and 2015, real terms, adjusted for inflation, per pupil spending at the K-12 level in Illinois has increased by 37%. Pension contributions have increased by 618%. And revenue? 22%. So you see the problem here? Revenue has increased by 22%. Despite that, they've still spent 65% more per pupil on K-12 education in Illinois. Oh, and pension contributions have increased 618%. Here's a reminder. A fourth of the state budget goes for public sector pension contributions. It is eating everything in its wake. So these superintendents, who are, by the way, are the beneficiaries of the pension largesse, some of the greatest beneficiaries, incredible beneficiaries, those are the numbers they don't want to tell you about. It is to say it's a revenue problem. I mean, I agree that the way the funding formula works, it doesn't work. And it was a dumb idea. It's a Rube Goldberg scheme that no one can distill. And we should move to a new property tax system and the state playing a larger role in funding K-12 education, like, for example, the Indiana model. Totally agree with that. That's not what's being proposed in Springfield by the left, though.
No, it's not.
What's being proposed in Springfield by the left is to rob suburban school districts and bail out Chicago and fund downstate school districts. That's what the actual proposal is by Decatur Senator Andy Minar that Democrats have signed on to.
But, okay, speaking of that, because CPS is the worst school district in the state, right?
One of
And
the worst in the
threats-
Western Hemisphere.
And there's threat that CPS is going to face 30% cuts next year. That's if they even open at all. But because of that rhetoric, we have lost 2 really great principals in the past week. And we're learning breaking news this morning that the principal of Lane Tech College Prep High School, Catherine Anderson, she gone. She's now going to be the Deerfield High School principal. And why not? She was having to face $8.5 million in cuts just for her school alone. So she left. She took a better job. I don't know if I blame her, but the kids are, now we have to start a search again for a new principal at Lane Tech. Lakeview High School, 2 weeks ago, that principal left to teach or to become a principal in a suburban school.
Yeah, well,
because they're facing cuts too.
One of the underreported stories is that teachers are fleeing the quality teachers are fleeing K through 12 education because the good ones, many of the good ones, the young ones, it's almost half leave within their first 5 years. You know why? Not because the salary or the pension benefits aren't rich enough. It's because they can't do what they got into teaching to do, which is instill a love of learning in children. That's the problem.
Well, they have to pay out of their own pockets for materials.
That's not it. It's not it.
That's what teachers tell me. They have no support here.
No.
They buy everything for their classrooms.
Well, no support. Yeah, that's a general problem. But the problem is these Soviet-style systems don't allow teachers to do what they got into teaching to do, which is teach children how to be lifelong learners and set them on a path to success. They're run for the adults, and it's directed at the top from CEOs like Karen Lewis and CEOs like Forrest Claypool. They're two sides of the same corrupt coin. That's what's actually happening. By the way, Ronner needs to tighten up his messaging because yesterday on the trail was awful. It's a simple twofer. Here's the twofer to respond to these craven superintendents and to respond to the leftist protesters. Here it is. Real simple. Okay. I have proposed I'm a practical guy. I'm a problem solver. And I'm running into a professional class of political troublemakers. I have proposed a short-term solution because we need a short-term solution with this impasse to make sure the schools are funded and so they can open. That's the stopgap that I propose that legislative leaders on the Democrat side, the Speaker and the Senate President, didn't take up. I proposed that. And I've also proposed, that's important to me, and I've also proposed that we don't spend money we don't have. We can't make commitments with money we don't have. That's the only way we're going to right the state's finances. That's the only way we're going to lower property taxes in Illinois families who pay the highest property taxes in the nation. That's simple twofer. I'm a practical guy. We'll address this short-term need. It's not a long-term solution, but we need a short-term solution right now, given the landscape. And here is a long-term play on spending as well as rethinking how we fund schools, how we fund K through 12 education in the state. It's not that complicated. It really isn't. Let's go to Will and Skokie. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Yeah, I find, as a guy with a couple of advanced degrees myself, I find it interesting that to get a PhD in education, as we've seen so many of these supposed experts that have come in for CPS, you never have to learn anything rigorous. There's no real math requirements or stuff where you have to actually learn anything. And that's why we get all this stuff, because people are constantly putting in PhD theses for new things when actually education has pretty much been figured out a long time ago. Ultimately, you just need a log with a teacher on one side and a student on the other, but they have to have all these new theories like whole language and new math. And when I was a kid, it was, they were teaching sets and so on and so forth. So, I mean, the whole thing just boils down to a scam where people are perpetuating this crap for stuff that's been figured out a long time ago, and we should fund it and we should get it done, and we shouldn't act all this new stuff, because every time we come up with a new way of teaching, we wind up setting the kids back about 2 or 3 grade levels.
Thanks for the call, Will. I mean, what's the average CPS principal make? $135,000?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the pension?
Probably
guaranteed pension.
$1 million?
No.
$500,000?
The guaranteed pension, if you maxed out, making $135,000 for 30 years. I mean, you'd be in the $4 million range with the way that it works.
Ridiculous.
Exactly.
God.
Ron on the South Side.
Hey, good morning. Well, you know what? Ron is absolutely correct. And I've gone on the record for years saying that I would not allow my dog to go in a public school. I've been fighting these guys for years. I believe in vouchers. When my son went to high school, they were telling him about this neighborhood school. I told him, there's no way. And here's an example, guys. I believe in vouchers because I had to pay my taxes to support these crappy schools, but I sacrificed and sent my son, and I will say, to Mount Carmel High School. And I used to tell them, walking distance, Hyde Park, a public school, walking distance from Mount Carmel was a zoo. And so, you know what? He's absolutely correct. And any chance I have an opportunity, I will say it. I wouldn't send my dog to the public schools. And we need vouchers to make our own choices to send our kids to school. Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. And I'll tell you something else. You talk so much about the political leadership in this state, and these superintendents pretend they're not political animals. Give me a break. The political leadership of the state in terms of elected officials in the General Assembly or the governor. What about the leadership, the adult leadership, quote unquote, of the schools? I'm talking about superintendents. I'm talking about school boards. I'm talking about teachers union bosses. What about that leadership? Look locally and pay a little bit of attention to what's going on in the schools that you're financing, even if you aren't sending your kids there. Remember, most, especially in the suburbs, 80% to 90% of your property tax bill, that's where it's going. Scott on the west side.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. Thanks for taking my call. I moved to Chicago in 1991, and ever since I've lived here, it's been the same mantra for the entire time, that they need more money for schools. The fact is that the schools do not do a good job. The dropout rate is astronomical, and I give the Chicago school system an F.
Thanks, Scott. Tom in Schaumburg.
The big lie. Chicago residents don't make enough money to pay for their own school system, or at least pay their fair share. This has been going on for so long, it's ridiculous. Most of the millionaires in this state live in Chicago. The biggest corporations in this state have headquarters in Chicago. They have more than enough money to pay their fair share. They've got no money for schools, but Tiny Dancer's got $1 billion for a basketball court for a college team that nobody watches anyway. He's got hundreds of millions of dollars to build elevated walkways and bike paths so that the neighborhoods can become communities. Yeah, it takes a village. These people are spendaholic drunks, and they spend money on anything and everything, and they want everybody else to pay for education because that's for the children.
Thanks, Tom. Ruth in Rogers Park.
About, I think a month ago you mentioned that Rauner was willing to, give more money to CPS to help them solve it, but I think take that money and make school choice, give people school vouchers, even privatize the system. This is ridiculous already. It's never going to be solved. They just need to completely discard everything and start fresh.
Thanks for the call, Ruth. I mean, I look at CPS the same way you look at the Soviet Union. All you have to do is open it up a little bit. Gorbachev with perestroika and glasnost, he thought that was going to save the empire. When in point of fact, all it did was accelerate the internal contradictions of the system where it imploded upon itself like a dying star. That's something on the order of what needs to happen in CPS.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Bit of a chilly start to your Tuesday. 57 degrees outside, going up to a high of 68 degrees. The good news is we have a string of days with sunshine and no rain. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine and a high of 73 degrees. Any sunshine delays on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Some heavy crash delays, though, Amy, on southbound 53. It's a real mess from the Adams Tollway I-90 to Thorndale, where 4 right lanes are blocked with a collision. Traffic only gets by in the left lane and on the left shoulder. And this has 390 backed up now from Wright Boulevard all the way to 290. The Edens Expressway inbound delays start around Dempster. It's 29 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 31. The Kennedy, 52 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 56. The Eisenhower, an hour and 16 minutes Thorndale to downtown, outbound 53 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 44 minutes. The Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to the Loop. Tollways are heavy, including the Adams Tollway from Higgins to 53, and then 2E to the Kennedy. Reagan Tollway from the Aurora Toll to 59, and 53 to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial still Boughton to the Reagan Tollway, and Findlay up to 290. Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
You've been putting it off for weeks now. I'm talking about shopping for Father's Day. It's tough to shop for Dad, but I've got the answer for you. Buy your dad a limited edition shaving kit from Harry's.com. Comes with a razor handle, a chrome razor stand, Harry's moisturizing foaming shave gel, which I like. Yeah, It's a mouthful.
Don't you hate the word moist?
It's a faceful.
Yeah. Oh, moisturizing.
Yeah, moist.
Okay.
You're right. I do. I agree with that.
Okay, go on.
3 of Harry's handcrafted blade cartridges and a travel cover. All of that starting at just $40. You can upgrade by adding custom engraving and a personalized card. It all comes in a beautiful box that you won't even need to wrap. Couldn't be easier. How good are Harry's shaving products? I'm glad you asked. They're excellent. I've been shaving with them for several weeks now, and I'm getting a smooth, comfortable shave. Look at that, Amy. Huh? Oh, yeah.
It's looking good, Dad.
Thank you very much.
Keep it up with Harry's.
That's what your dad could enjoy if you just go to harrys.com right now. Use the promo code PROFT. That's me. And Harry's will give you $5 off your first purchase. Don't wait. Economy shipping for Father's Day ends this Thursday, June 9th. So act now. That's HARRYS.com, harrys.com. Use the promo code PROFT at checkout to get $5 off and get Dad something he'll actually use this Father's Day.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance, but they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz, at Automated Systems when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
Hey, size matters. Look to the Italians. They made it happen. The Colosseum, the Vatican, the Tower of Pisa, and Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli Sandwiches. Yeah! Their signature subs are as big as your forearm, hefty and fully loaded with the highest quality deli meats on artisan bread. Their homemade Italian beef sandwiches are sliced paper thin, using their own family recipe. And if you can't choose between the burgers, wraps, or hand-rolled meatball sandwiches, then get them all. Feed your inner rock star. Eat amongst authentic rock and roll memorabilia while you enjoy the soundtrack of your glory days. Or pick up and go. Either way, Augie's offers fast, fresh, and affordable food, even gluten-free options. Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, Carroll Stream or West Chicago. Be sure to visit augustinos.com for full menus and directions. And if the party's on at your house, look to Augie's for catering. Don't make it happen with Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we like to stay on the cutting edge of technology, and so I want to alert our listeners to Wipe.
Wipe.
Oh, it's kind of like moist.
Well, Wipe is a new app you can download on your phone, and you could click and they'll come and clean your car for you where it's sitting. Now, there's different options, Dan. I've picked out one for you. There's the Quickie, which only cleans the exterior. It doesn't require you to leave the keys, The Standard, which gets the interior and exterior clean. And then there's the Schwanky. And what does the Schwanky do? It's interior, exterior, but they also add some wax.
It's funny. That's the same names of my date packages.
Quickie, Standard, and Swanky.
Yeah, I allow the female to select.
And I'm going to need this because recently, I got a minivan, a used minivan. And you know what a minivan is? Just another room to clean. Really, that's what it is. Because people eat and change, do their homework in there. They watch movies. I sleep in it sometimes.
Well, more of the sharing economy of sorts, but there's no car too dirty for Wipe to handle. Yeah. WYPE, by the way. And this rolled out in Southern California, I guess. The founders include former LA Laker and now Memphis Grizzly basketball player Jordan Farmer.
Oh,
who went to UCLA. Wow. And you can clean your car. You have them come to you to clean your car. So, in the era of $15 minimum wage at car washes, at brick-and-mortar car washes, I wouldn't want to be owning a car wash with Wipe rolling itself out in Southern California and making its way nationally, because I think they're going to outcompete the old model that has to comply with big government.
Oh, it's so sticky.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Are you in foreclosure, behind in the mortgage, underwater with a mortgage? Well, you'd be not alone. In fact, there's 20 million other American families in the same boat as you. And this came about not because these families decided to commit bank fraud, because they were the victims of fraud by the Wall Street investment bankers and the banks that now service the mortgages. But there are some things you do. My partner, I'm Lou Bridges, my partner Scott O and I have put together a firm, a team of people to help people like you. We apply for modifications, we defend a foreclosure, we apply a restructuring, we explore a short sale and investors who may buy the home and lease it back to you. But whatever your objectives are, you need to have a competent legal counsel. But whatever you do, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you will never be alone. Call us for a free consultation.
Call 224-513-1231 or visit FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. That's 224-513-1231 or FightIllinoisForeclosures.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Former United States Attorney General Alberto Gonzales joins us to talk about Trump's criticism of that federal judge. That's at 7:37.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning once again to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 56 degrees. Tropical storm Colin doing the bypass of South Carolina this morning. No rain across that state, although rain earlier brought flooding and high winds to the panhandle of Florida. 11 are dead, 36 others wounded during a rush hour car bomb targeting a bus carrying riot police that went off in Istanbul, Turkey. 6 states in the last big round of presidential primaries today will not be impacting the outcomes of the presumptive nominations on the Democratic or Republican sides. Hillary Clinton is also, she says, anticipating an endorsement from President Obama in the next few days.
Obviously, I'm excited about having the president's support because I have said throughout this campaign, I was honored to serve in the president's cabinet as his Secretary of State.
House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi also endorsing Hillary Clinton this morning.
It's wonderful that she's a woman. It's fabulous that we would have a woman president, and I believe she will walk into that Oval Office, one of the best prepared people to do so in our country's history.
Pelosi on ABC's Good Morning America. T-Mobile giving away free shares of stock this morning to new customers. Those who switch to a qualified plan from the country's third largest wireless company will get a free share of common stock. Chicago police say a 6-year-old girl has been critically hurt. Happened in a shooting on the city's northwest side. A judge tosses a lawsuit aimed at stopping a plan to close Lincoln Way North High School. More than a dozen school superintendents write a letter to Republican Governor Bruce Rauner accusing him of playing politics with education funding. And prosecutors in Chicago say a 17-year-old accused in his 16-year-old friend's shooting death admitted to the killing in a Snapchat video. Cubs winners over the Phillies 6-4. The news a service of Cici's Pizza. Can you believe it? Cici's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas, original pepperoni, new pretzel, and new bacon stuffed. Try them all and your other Cici's favorites for just $5 and change. The Cici's buffet just got better. Believe it. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager has an argument for the Never Trumpers.
The Democratic Party now is so left. Hillary Clinton has moved so left. That 4 more years of left-wing domination of this country has put us on a course, or we're already on the course of a true abandonment of what America stood for. America is an idea. It is not a geographical entity.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Tea times, golf outings, driving range, golf academy, brunch, dinner, weddings, banquets, receptions. Find and do it all at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Info online at BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
The company was born in the Civil War era. The year was 1866 when founder Christian Henry Hansen started C.H. Hansen in Chicago. The company grew, expanded, and even survived the Great Chicago Fire and the Great Depression to become the great company they are today, headquartered in their Naperville office and factory.
The C.H. Hansen Company stands proud with Chicago and Illinois as a great American hand tool manufacturer. In celebration of their 150-year anniversary, family-owned and operated C.H. Hansen thanks its employees and customers for their service and business. C.H. Hansen offers over 2,000 products, stock and custom in 8 different product categories, including steel stamps, stencils, metal tags, barricade and flagging tapes, Palmgren, makers of work-holding vices and metalworking machines, mechanics tools, and marketing tools. Visit chhansen.com for information. C.H. Hansen is Chicago and a proud part of Chicago and Illinois for 150 years strong and counting.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature New Year's Challenge. Success stories are pouring in. So many people have been helped through this incentive that I have asked Balance of Nature to continue this challenge for as long as possible.
I'll tell you what, this stuff is great. I haven't gotten sick. Everybody around me is coming down with that laryngitis. And it seems like it's all over the country. It's like a respiratory tract infection, and people lose their voice. And then it goes away, and then it comes back like 2 weeks later, and it's worse. I teach in a school. Half the teachers here, are sick. They're miserable. And I haven't gotten sick, and I swear it's this stuff. It's this fruits and veggies I'm taking.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
7:36 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. The latest now with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound 53 is jammed from Palatine Road to Thorndale, where a crash has 4 right lanes blocked. This has eastbound 390 backed up before Wright Boulevard. Eden's 29 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 31. The Kennedy, 54 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 58. The Eisenhower, gain an hour and 16 minutes from Thorndale to downtown, 58 minutes from Manheim, outbound 53 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. All the tollways are very heavy this morning. Traffic service of Subway. Try a hot, delicious Subway breakfast sandwich built just the way you want it, like egg whites and cheese with tomato and fresh spinach on toasted flatbread. Customize it with your choice of cheese, fresh veggies, Black Forest ham, or steak. Even jalapenos. The Subway Sandwich Shop. Fresh is what they do. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. A cooler day ahead, sun and clouds mixed, and a high of 68. 57 at O'Hare, 57 along the lakefront. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Master Fence Rental, keeping your event or work site safe. Visit masterfencerental.com.
Let not your heart be troubled. Listen to me, Sean Hannity. I'll have the latest news and what it all means for you. It's coming up at 2 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so not a lot of people rallying to the defense of Donald Trump and some of the comments he has made about Judge Gonzalo Curiel, the judge who's presiding over the class action suit against Trump University. You've had a number of Republicans call for Trump to basically shut up, some calling for him to retract his remarks, at least those remarks about the judge's Mexican heritage.
At the very least, apologize.
Yeah. One of those that one person who has rallied to Trump's defense to an extent, is an important voice. He is former United States Attorney General Alberto Gonzales, who is now the Dean and Doyle Rogers Distinguished Professor of Law at Belmont University. Belmont University, you know the mascot, Amy?
I do not, but I know that you do.
Yeah, I know all the Division I mascots.
What is it?
Belmont Bruins. A little history.
Yes.
Belmont used to be called the Rebels, but then they changed their nickname to comply with PC, like so many universities did a while ago. But they're the Bruins.
Okay.
And
school colors still the same, Dan?
They're not UCLA colors.
Okay.
And Belmont Bruin, Alberto Gonzalez, former U.S. Attorney General, joins us now. General Gonzalez, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Happy to be with you.
So in terms of your remarks in response to Trump's criticisms of Judge Curiel, explain what you thought was legitimate, or at least within the bounds of propriety for Trump to say, and what was and what was not.
Yeah, let me be very clear about this, because the response to what I wrote has been somewhat surprising and a little bit disappointing, because I think emotions have really sort of caused people to run away with various assumptions. What I wrote in the piece that was published this weekend was that I was in support of Trump's right to get a fair trial before an impartial judge. And I was also clear in what I wrote that I did not support Trump going after this judge publicly, because I believe it's demeaning and it does hurt the judiciary. This was not a piece in support of Trump's statements, and I also wrote that ethnicity alone would not be sufficient to cause a recusal in this particular case.
Right.
But I think we all have to agree that every litigant, even if they are a racist or a child molester or a rapist or a terrorist, is entitled to a fair and impartial trial before an unbiased judge. And that is certainly a right that I think all of us should defend. And I've had lawyers call me and say, "What good for you. You're absolutely right that in our system of government, our system of justice, we can't have confidence in it. And if there's any question at all about the impartiality of a judge, because the standard judicial canons are that it's not just not a true bias, but even the appearance of impropriety is enough to cause a judge to recuse himself." So I really was defending Trump's rights to have a fair trial. I'm not at all defending his statements. I think they're wrong, and I'm quite honestly very disappointed in his continued discussion about this, which I think is heading the discussion in the very wrong direction.
But in that piece, I mean, I understand. I don't think the idea of a right to a fair trial is in controversy, but in that piece, you did say that these are legitimate, or words to this effect, I'm not quoting directly, but words to this effect, they're legitimate issues to raise of the appearance of bias and related to the judge appointing a firm to the class that had paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in speaking fees to the Clintons, the judges' professional affiliations that may be politically at odds with Trump's stated positions as a candidate for president of the United States. Those are legitimate areas to explore if, for example, Trump's attorneys wanted to petition the judge to recuse himself.
Yes, and listen, I suspect this judge, like every other judge, has asked or will be asking that very same question of himself, because every judge under the canon of ethics has an obligation to ensure that there's nothing there that even, again, promotes even the appearance of impropriety. And I'm not suggesting that he is biased, and it may very well be at the end of the day this trial is going to go forward and this judge is going to continue to sit. But the other point I wanted to make in what I wrote is that this is not about the judge. People have rallied to the defense of the judge, and I understand that. But this is about justice for everyone under the law. The rules of recusal exist not for the judge. They exist for the litigants, to ensure that the litigants get a fair opportunity, a fair shot in the courts. So that's one thing. The other thing that I, again, want to repeat, that as a Hispanic who's worked very hard with Hispanic organizations around the country to get good, qualified Hispanics on the bench, this has been very disappointing to me in terms of some of the statements that Mr. Trump has said and that continues to say. I just think it's very disappointing, and as a Republican, I just think it's going to make it even more difficult. The challenges continue to mount, I think, for the Republican Party in terms of attracting a sufficient number of Latino voters in the fall to ensure the election of Mr. Trump, the likely nominee for president. It also, I think, puts into question the renomination or the re-election of various senators in very key states around the country,
so
where the Hispanic vote can be influential.
Yeah. Do you feel Donald Trump then needs to apologize?
I don't know if he needs to apologize. Certainly, I think many Republicans would wish that he would just shut up, that he would just quit talking about this. If he has an issue with the judge, the judge himself may decide on his own that a recusal is appropriate, or there is a way to make that happen in the judicial process if it's appropriate. I think to publicly go on about this, particularly to talk about his race as a possible basis for recusal, I think is unwise, and is demeaning to the judge, and I think is also I think it hurts Trump politically, because I think for a lot of American voters it's just very disturbing, very disappointing.
Yeah, I think Trump may be looking just at the Trump University case itself, and this is a way for him to set up I was treated unfairly in the event that the case doesn't go his way. But I want to explore this issue of invoking ethnic heritage, invoking race in the whole political arena of the judiciary and judicial appointments. I'm not doing this kind of will they do it too as a rationalization for what Trump said, because I agree with you about what Trump said, just kind of separate and distinct. But this is also an opportunity to remind people that when Dick Durbin and his staff said Miguel Estrada was dangerous, and in part because he was a Latino, and they tubed his nomination, didn't even allow him to receive an up or down vote for the federal bench, or when some of the things that the left has said about Clarence Thomas as a Supreme Court justice nominee, and even as a Supreme Court justice, that are full of racially tinged commentary. It seems to me that this is an opportunity to also say, well, if we're going to say what Trump said is wrong, then we should remind ourselves that what people have said about judges like Estrada, justices like Thomas, that's also wrong.
Absolutely. I think, neither party has clean hands here in this discussion. And it is part of the evolution, the growth, hopefully the growth, the healing within this country as we come to terms with our history, as we come to terms with the clear understanding that our country is becoming more and more diverse. And so how are we going to deal with that ethnicity? How are we going to deal with that diversity? That's a very, very important issue. And we need people in leadership positions that can move us through that, to take us to a place where we can take advantage of that diversity. I always have felt that we are great as a country because of our diversity. Now, it does present challenges, but I continue to believe that we are great because we are different. We have different cultures, different ideas. We take those ideas, we take our strengths, combine them to make us the greatest country on the face of the earth.
As a Republican, I'm voting for the party, not for the person. That's how I'm going to frame it when I go into the polling booth next November. But as a Hispanic, how do you convince other Hispanics to become Republicans?
Well, it's certainly challenging these days. And if you figure it out, bottle it and sell it.
It's a challenge. I'll just say it's a challenge. And what I hope is that there will be individuals that will have input into Mr. Trump, help him understand how important the Hispanic community is to the future of our country. From my perspective, Hispanics represent the future workforce, the future leadership of this country, and we need to be doing what we have to do to promote education, to promote opportunity in this country for Hispanics, and they can't be ignored, and you can't belittle them. They're going to be they're important today. They're going to be even more important into the future. That's just a reality. And I think a leader that understands that and embraces that, not just understand it, but accepts it, but actually embraces that, I think is going to be much more successful going forward.
He is former United States Attorney General Alberto Gonzales, now the Dean and Doyle Rogers Distinguished Professor of Law at Belmont University in Tennessee. General Gonzales, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you giving me an opportunity to discuss these very important issues.
And thank you. And he joined us on our Turnkey.Pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine right now, but cooler temperatures than we're used to. We haven't been into the 50s in a while, and we are at 57 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high today of 68 degrees. Tomorrow, more of the same. Plenty of sunshine, a little bit warmer, a high of 73. Anything good on the roadways? Here's Jim Delamonte.
Not really, Amy. It's pretty awful everywhere, especially southbound 53. Jammed Euclid to Thorndale, where a crash has everything blocked except the left lane and left shoulder. This has eastbound 390 jammed, starting around Wright Boulevard. Eden's 31 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 33. The Kennedy, an hour and 3 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Heavier in the Express. There's a crash at North Avenue that just cleared, actually near Augusta. Outbound 58 minutes downtown to the airport. The Eisenhower, now an hour and 26 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 58 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 52 minutes to Manheim, an hour 26 to Thorndale, thanks to that crash on 53. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40 minutes. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State, southbound very slow Washington to Eau Plaine. Northbound Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Veterans Memorial stop and go from 75th all the way up to 290. The other tollways are very heavy as well. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Everyone is making predictions about who Donald Trump will pick as his vice presidential running mate. And here at AM 560, we're raising the stakes a little bit. Check this out. If you correctly guessed Trump's running mate, you could win $560. That's right. Enter our $560 Veep Stakes contest between now and June 24th. And if your prediction is correct, you could win $560 and a $50 gift card from the Trump Winery. 2 easy ways to enter. Fire up the AM 560 mobile app on your smartphone and enter the contest that way. Or go to 560theanswer.com/Trump to enter online. It is that easy. Complete rules are online at 560theanswer.com/Trump. Enter today. It's going to be huge. We're so excited about our sold-out golf outing at the Bolingbrook Golf Club coming up on Thursday, June 16th to benefit Operation Support Our Troops America.
If you weren't able to get in this year, don't worry. You can still reserve a tee time at the Bolingbrook Golf Club anytime this spring or summer by visiting BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
And thanks to the sponsors who are making our golf outing possible.
Remax Professionals, Charity Golf International, Dr. Amy and Associates, MJ Miller and Company Jewelers in Barrington, Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, and Pearl Mortgage.
Not available in all states. Whoa, what do you have there?
It's a Reese and Irvy's frozen yogurt. We just had our robot make one.
A robot made your frozen yogurt?
Yes, the world's first fully interactive robot vending machine that serves 9 flavors of delicious yogurt with 6 amazing toppings. And it's available for an exclusive franchise opportunity.
How do I get my own Reese and Irvy's robots?
It's easy, but you better act now. Locations and machines are going fast. Just go to froyofranchising.com. That's froyofranchising.com. Check it out now, froyofranchising.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
The success of a mid-sized business often comes down to one thing: managing your cash flow. I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, we take a personalized and proactive approach to structuring your cash management solutions to keep your financial assets safe and working for you. Our automated accounts receivable and accounts payable technology allows your business to grow without adding to your overhead expenses. And what truly sets Signature Bank apart is our personal approach. We get to know your business by rolling up our sleeves to work alongside you. Call me today for a review of your company's operational challenges.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
If you could quickly and painlessly clear your psoriasis or vitiligo, would you?
No matter how big the psoriasis is, no matter how small the psoriasis, we can help you.
Ashley is a clinical specialist for Extract, the amazing in-office treatment for psoriasis and vitiligo that's clinically proven to show immediate results with up to 95% clearance.
What my patients love most about the Extract treatments is it's safe, it's FDA cleared, and they're seeing results very quickly.
End the embarrassing, painful patches and discoloration with Extract. There's no medications, no topical ointments, and virtually no side effects. Extract uses light to transform your skin in and change your life. It's covered by all major insurances and Medicare, and we'll help you find a doctor close by.
I love what I do. I love coming in every day and making a difference in patients' lives. It's amazing.
Call now to live X-Track Clear. Call 800-978-3554. That's 800-978-3554. 800-978-3554 or visit xtracradio.com. Qualified patients, certain restrictions apply.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy. So, Amy, Paul Ryan has said he will vote for Trump, but that's not good enough for Paul Nealon. He's the gentleman manufacturing company exec running against Paul Ryan in the Republican primary in Wisconsin for Paul Ryan's congressional seat.
Sarah Palin supporting him, remember?
Yeah. So
don't forget about the Palin.
That could be an interesting race. Nealon is essentially trying to trump Paul Ryan, and he's out with an ad where he's walking across the Rio Grande with a crate that says drugs on it. Take a listen.
This is the Rio Grande. Smuggling drugs into America shouldn't be this easy, but it is. Cheap Mexican heroin is killing Americans in record numbers, and it's got to stop. Paul Ryan's had 18 years to fix this. He's failed. I want to keep the cartels from killing our kids. I'm Paul Nealon, and I approve this message.
I don't know.
That's pretty good.
And you think that plays in Janesville?
Yeah, because I think there's a heroin epidemic in every American city across this nation.
We'll be watching that primary.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Pete. I've had 3 missing teeth and have been thinking for a while about getting something done to get them replaced. I went to Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics to see what they could do, and I'm glad that I did that. The staff there was fantastic. Dr. Neruzzi made sure I was comfortable during the entire process, always checking to make sure there was no pain. All my visits were very pleasant, and I'm glad I had it done. Another piece that made it fantastic was they worked with me on the payment. As all of us know, these are not inexpensive items to do, so they worked with me on the payment options as well as with my insurance carrier to help minimize my out-of-pocket cost. I feel so much better now that I've had my teeth and my dental implants put in. I feel more confident as I'm walking around. For those of you out there that are missing teeth and thinking about doing this, I would recommend you see Dr. Neruzzi and his staff. They're great, and I would highly recommend them going forward.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Many problems in healthcare today are blamed on the free market. High drug prices, we're told they're due to drug companies free to set their own prices. Insurance premiums on the rise, most place the guilt on insurance companies who have the freedom to price their own products. But the reality is, America doesn't have a free market. Today we live in what philosopher Ayn Rand called a mixed economy, a mixture of freedom and lots of government controls. And healthcare is one of the most controlled industries in America. It's because of this mixed economy that many of today's healthcare problems exist. If you investigate, what you'll find is that it's not freedom, but government regulations that are to blame. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Ron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brooks Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
Mark your calendar, Chicago, for Tuesday, June 7th at the Langham Hotel for the 5th Annual Atlas Shrugged Revolution Dinner. This event has everything: a worthy cause, engaging speakers including AM 560's Joe Walsh, a beautiful venue, and fantastic food. Plus, it's your chance to target your support of the Ayn Rand Institute for students in the Chicagoland area. Complete details are online at aynrand.org/Chicago. That's aynrand.org/Chicago.
Here's some great news. Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates can help you with your retirement game plan. You know Jack, or you should. Jack is the president and founder of Tabota & Associates. He's been helping folks just like you retire successfully for 3 decades. Jack has the insight, information, strategies, and experience you can use to build wealth and keep it. Live good. Retire well with Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates. 630-777-7955. 630-777-7955.
Sun and clouds this morning. A cooler day ahead. Will top out at 68 degrees. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. They can vote for president starting now in Montana, New Mexico, and South Dakota. The polls have been open for hours in New Jersey.
Hillary is the experienced candidate. I think she could do the best job for the country.
But she may have already become the first woman ever to secure the Democratic nomination. The AP reports she secured enough delegates.
We are repudiating Donald Trump. We are getting ready for the fall election. We're going to defeat him.
But she's not declaring victory yet, and Bernie Sanders refuses to concede anything.
She will be dependent on super delegates. They vote in July 25th.
He thinks he'll win today's California Democrat primary if there's a big voter turnout. There will also be caucuses in North Dakota.
Reports indicate President Obama could formally endorse Clinton as early as tomorrow. In a year where endorsements have meant little, this could be significant. Keep in mind, this is the first time in recent memory a sitting president would have a higher approval rating than either of the frontrunners likely to take his spot.
That's Fox's Leland Vittert in Santa Monica, California, hoping to find an issue to help unify Republicans after a tumultuous primary season that Donald Trump won. House Speaker Paul Ryan, who now backs Trump, will roll out a plan today to propose overhauling poverty programs. Tropical storm Colin has moved from the Gulf to the Atlantic. Fox's Evan Brown tracking it live in Miami.
Dave, the storm made a pretty quick run over northern and central Florida, but not without dumping a lot of water, and not everybody listened to the weather forecasters before trying to go swimming at the beach.
We just thought it was going to rain. We didn't know it was going to storm and flood.
Now, flooding was a big issue along the western Florida coast. The storm is now giving its final fury to the Outer Banks of North Carolina, the final stop on its northeastern path out to the Atlantic Ocean. Colin is not predicted to make a return to the continental U.S., Dave.
And it still does have 50-mile-an-hour wind. This is Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Clouds and sunshine this morning, 57 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A man is dead after being struck by a car on the Eisenhower Expressway in west suburban Maywood. State police say the incident happened late last night while the victim was walking along I-290 near 9th Avenue. No citations have been issued. Investigators are still trying to figure out why the man was on the expressway. No one in custody after a northwest suburban Hanover Park man was killed in a shooting in Chicago's South Loop. Sammy Samela and a woman were shot early yesterday, sitting in a pickup near 24th and Michigan. Police have charged a registered sex offender with trying to take pictures of a child inside a Wrigley Field bathroom Saturday afternoon. 37-year-old Nicholas Gregor of Villa Park took out a camera standing next to a boy at a ballpark urinal. He was arrested and charged with criminal exploitation of a child. He's been charged with a similar crime in DuPage County. Chicago Public Schools, the target of some harsh criticism by Governor Bruce Rauner.
Many of them are basically almost crumbling prisons. They're not a place that a young person should be educated.
Mayor Rahm Emanuel responded to Rauner's comments, saying it sounds like he's auditioning to be a Donald Trump running mate. Cubs, a Major League best 40-16. After John Lester scattered 4 hits in 8 shutout innings of work in a 6-4 triumph over the Phillies. The news, a service of CiCi's Pizza. Can you believe it? CiCi's now has 3 stuffed crust pizzas. Original pepperoni, new pretzel, and new bacon stuffed. Try them all and your other CiCi's favorites for just $5 and change. The CiCi's buffet just got better. Believe it. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Daimler says it's seeing fewer orders for trucks, so it will be laying off more than 1,200 workers across North America. The company says retail sales are down 15% from a year ago, but Daimler believes this decline will be temporary. Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen isn't offering much of a clue about when the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates. In her remarks on Monday, she said consumer spending is improving, but she offered no indication when the Fed might raise rates. Novartis says two of its drugs used for treating melanoma are also showing promise of treating lung cancer. The medications were used on people whose cancer did not respond to chemotherapy. And the auction for lunch with Warren Buffett is underway. It wraps up on Friday night on eBay. Last year's winner paid more than $2 million. The auction raises money for Glide, a San Francisco charity. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity believes we're seeing a war on the police.
It's been led by President Obama. It's been led by Attorney General at the time, Eric Holder. You know, the tragedy of this war on cops is not just for the cops, but for innocent people now dying in the streets because of the so-called Ferguson effect, meaning officers are scared to death to do their job for fear of getting hit with excessive force or brutality charges or a video that looks bad.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-467-5125. That's 1-800-467-5125. 1-800-467-5125. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
It is 8:06, and in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center, let's get the very latest this morning with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound 53 has heavy delays from Peloton Road to Thorndale, where a crash moved to the right shoulder. This has eastbound 390 backed up to a right boulevard. The Edens inbound has delays starting at Peterson. 28 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 30 to Kennedy, an hour and 8 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 33 minutes from Montrose, 27 on the Express. Outbound 58 minutes to the airport, the Eisenhower. An hour and 32 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, an hour 19 from Manheim. Outbound, an hour 21 to Thorndale, thanks to that crash at Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, about 40 minutes. The Ryan is 29 minutes, 95th to the Loop. Tri-State southbound, slow 21 to Bradley. Northbound, stop and go Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Adams Tollway, Jan, Barrington Road to 53 and Toohey to Lee. Reagan Tollway 31 to 59 and 53 to the Tri-State. Veterans Memorial very slow, 75th up to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, cooler with sun and clouds, high 68. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 50. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 73. And tomorrow night, partly cloudy with a low of 55. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
57 at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
According to the news, we are on the brink of a historic, unprecedented moment.
I don't care if the judge is Mexican or not. I'm going to do great with the Mexican people because I provide jobs. So I don't care about Mexican. But we're being treated very unfairly, Bill. Very, very unfairly.
He's revealing who he is. They have to ask themselves, morally, is this the man you want to be the leader of your party? And that's what's at stake here. That's why it's a bigger issue.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. It's a historic day.
Yeah, I think I reminded you because while you were sleeping, one Hillary Clinton became the presumptive Democratic nominee for her party.
Yeah.
Bells and whistles.
And we know from Hillary that chicks dig her.
I've seen it for more than a year. My supporters are passionate. They are committed. They have voted for me in great numbers across our country for many reasons. But among those reasons is their belief that having a woman president will make a great statement, a historic statement about what kind of country we are, what we stand for. It's really emotional. And I am someone who has been very touched and really encouraged by this extraordinary conviction that people have. It's predominantly women and girls, but not exclusively. Men bring their daughters to meet me and tell me that they are supporting me because of their daughters.
Yeah.
Chicks dig me because I rarely wear underwear, and when I do, it's usually something unusual.
And Hillary Clinton deserves to be in stripes of a different sort, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I think you do. Speaking of stripes, or at least being removed from office, how about IRS Commissioner Koskinen? When is he going to be impeached? The IRS revealed a list of Tea Party groups, conservative groups, that it admitted to targeting for extra special scrutiny. 426 organizations. Another 40 were not released as part of the list because they had opted out of this class action suit that is pending against the IRS. That is a significantly higher total than the IRS's Inspector General identified 3 years ago. And also a lawyer representing one of the plaintiffs suggested that a couple of the liberal groups that were snagged and were also listed was the IRS purposefully going after a couple of liberal groups.
Oh, to make it look fair.
Exactly.
And equal. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
So
play your little reindeer game.
Among the list, 60 of the groups on the list released have the word T in their name. 33 have Patriot. 8 refer to the Constitution. 13 have 9/12 in their name. Another 26 groups refer to Liberty in their name. And those are, those are like the George Carlin's bad words. Those are bad words to the IRS, and they
don't say Liberty.
They were illegally targeted. And you remember, too, some pro-life groups that were asked to turn over their prayers.
Oh, that's right.
So when do we get a bit of reckoning over at IRS? Well, let's put that question to somebody who's been on the case from the beginning. He is Congressman Peter Roskam from the 6th Congressional District, hailing from God's country out there in DuPage County, Wheaton, Illinois. Representative Roskam, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys. Good to be with you this morning.
So when do we get rid of Koskinen? Now.
So here's the process answer, and then here's, I think, the real answer. The process answer is the Judiciary Committee has taken up. They're going to have 2 hearings, and they've had one already. They have another one that's scheduled. And the question is, did Koskinen intentionally foil the investigation? And then the other matter is, what do you do in the meantime, whether or not Koskinen is there or not? So I don't know, in terms of the timing of a vote, whether the Speaker has made a decision about what's going to come to the floor. There's an opportunity, though, and I think we've been pressing hard against the IRS to make some of the changes that are necessary. In other words, when you're down, when your opponent is down, you want to press hard. And we were able to get the Taxpayer Bill of Rights signed into law. We were able to get the gift tax taken care of so they couldn't target any groups as it relates to putting a gift tax liability. I've got legislation that we're moving to take away the IRS's ability to get information that they don't need and then also pushing hard against them on civil forfeitures. So there's a lot going on, and it's not binary, if you know what I mean.
Well, where's Lois Lerner in all of this? I mean, she
Hiding.
allowed the computer backup tapes to be destroyed.
The House passed a resolution calling for a direct criminal referral of Lois Lerner, and the administration obviously didn't take anything up. But I'll tell you what, the statute of limitations does not lapse on Lois Lerner's activities until well into the next administration. So right now, everybody's thinking, oh, she can just relax. Not a chance. If you got a Republican in there who's willing to bring a case against her, I think that can get revisited, because I'm of the opinion that Lois Lerner is guilty as sin of committing those crimes, intentionally denying people their constitutional rights.
I want John Koskinen's head on a spike outside of Capitol Hill. And John Koskinen, the IRS commissioner, I mean, hasn't he been sort of an arrogant, misleading prig the entire process through trying to identify who was targeting who and why and who the responsible parties were? And so whether he was obstructionist with the investigation or just incompetent, who cares? Get rid of him.
So it could have been a fundamentally different relationship with Koskinen if he had come in and simply said, look, targeting happened. We'll acknowledge targeting happened. Here's how it took place. Here's what we've done to remedy it. And now let's turn the page and move on. And I think a conservative Congress would have been willing to do that. But instead what he did was he just lapsed into defending the institution. That is, defend the IRS. And he was, it just became a defense lawyer for the Internal Revenue Service, whining about not enough money when it was a false claim and so forth. So he doesn't have a lot of friends on Capitol Hill, but the ability to remove him from office it's a high enterprise. Now the House has taken it up, but obviously moving that through the Senate is a different enterprise.
Well, I mean, Republicans who don't vote in the Senate, I mean, I know what's the threshold? What do you need in the Senate?
The threshold would be 60 in order to get to it.
Yeah, so you need a supermajority. Well, so he, by the way, I also want Koskinen's name removed from the Duke lacrosse field. So add that to the list.
Who knew?
Yeah, he's a Duke. Of course, Duke lacrosse. Right. Think about the faux scandal that was, so his name is associated with all kinds of badness. But yeah, he's a Duke lacrosse field, Koskinen. He's a Duke grad.
Who knew?
Yeah. So put that on the wish list. But here's what Jay Sekulow said. He's the chief counsel for the American Center for Law and Justice, representing some of the plaintiffs in this case. He said, one thing remains clear. Continued litigation is the only way to force the IRS's hand in order to expose its targeting scheme that was coordinated with the help of DOJ and other federal agencies. And he goes on. I mean, do you agree with that statement?
Yeah. I mean, these guys are complicit. Let me give you another example. We had a hearing. We've had 2 hearings now on civil forfeitures. That is where the IRS comes in, takes people's money away, and I'm not overcharacterizing this, takes innocent people's money away when they know they're innocent. Now, we've been able to collapse this down. Number one, we got the IRS to apologize. Number 2, we got them to change their policy. Number 3, we're working on changing the underlying statute that they were relying on. But then the question is, how about after you've changed the policy, how about giving the people's money back? And I've had, it has been incredibly obtuse to try and get people's money back that they know they wrongfully took. And at one point, a Department of Justice big shot told me, well, Congressman, the money's been dissipated. Their money, the taxpayers' money, has been dissipated into the system. I said, dissipated into the system? What does that mean? I said, if my constituents spend tax dollars that they owe to the IRS, what do? You put them in prison and you take their house away. There's no way that a constituent can come and say, oh, the money has been dissipated into other things. And you see where you get on this stuff, and it's like you're in a Kafka novel, for crying out loud. So we're trying to get to the bottom of it, but you cannot push too hard on these people. I'm telling you, you cannot push too hard on the IRS.
All right, Congressman Peter Roskam, we have the Republican convention coming up here pretty shortly. Are you going to be attending, and are you going to be supporting Donald Trump?
So I think I am planning to attend currently. Look, I think Donald Trump's got a long way to go before getting people's support. So notwithstanding this past week of characterizations about sort of playing into the type of politics that we shun, that is identity politics. If you're a particular gender or a particular race, then you have a particular political persuasion. As conservatives, we fundamentally reject that. And yet Trump is playing into that. The other thing is, look, Donald Trump says he's neutral on Israel. I'm not neutral on Israel. He says that all the entitlements are fine. They're not fine. He says that under his plan, it's probably going to end up being a tax increase. I don't want to raise taxes on my constituents. So I think you've got a ways to go before you can bring people together.
Now, Paul Ryan said he's voting for him, at least. Are you in that camp?
So, hey, the election's 5 months away.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Peter Roskam, Republican from the 6th Congressional District, hailing from my hometown of Wheaton, Illinois. Peter, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Good to be with you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro, both from Pleasantville. Call line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, Dan Proft's favorite commencement speech from 2016. I had mine yesterday, but we never got to it, but that's all right. But first, here's your forecast. We're going to get to that. We're going to have some high clouds around here, but mostly sunshine in and out throughout the day. A high of 68 degrees. Then tomorrow, another gorgeous day. Mostly sunny skies, pleasant, not too warm and humid. A high of 73. Anything pleasant on the roadways? And what was your favorite commencement speech, Jim Talamonte?
I think I slept through all of them, Amy. Thanks so much. Nothing fun on the roadways either. About as exciting as some of those graduation speeches. Southbound 53, rough sledding, Palatine Road to Thorndale, where a crash has moved to the right shoulder, so things are loosening up a bit there. Eastbound 390, still heavy from Roselle to 290. Edens is 28 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 30. The Kennedy, an hour and 8 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound it's 58 minutes. The Eisenhower is an hour and 32 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, an hour 19 from Manheim. Outbound it's an hour 20 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38. Ryan, 29 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound slow 21 to Bradley. Northbound Cicero to 47th. After the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Other tollways still pretty heavy, too. Jim Talamonte, Guardian Security Services, Traffic Center.
Like all parents, I'm always looking for something fun to do with the kiddies. And I have a great suggestion. Donnelly's Wild West Town. It's a Western theme park, a short drive from Chicago and Union, Illinois. It's open every day now from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. One admission fee includes everything. It's really fun that everyone in the family can experience together. And truly, there's nothing else like it. Rides, attractions, panning for gold, shooting slingshots is so much fun. There's a Wild West show, which is always entertaining, a museum, a petting zoo, great food, and a lot more. Parents, grandparents, and kids, everyone will enjoy a day together at Wild West Town. It's interactive family fun. So check out the details at wildwesttown.com. That's wildwesttown.com. And what a great outing for groups, like church groups, daycares, anybody. Wild West Town open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Wild West Town, it's good old-fashioned family fun. Hee-haw!
I have struggled with irritable bowel syndrome for 40 years. Really struggled with it. And I want you to know that since I have been taking Balance of Nature, I don't have it anymore. But after 40 years, I'm 75 years old, and after 40 years of struggling with this, and, early on taking all kinds of medication and this, that, and the other thing, back in October, I was able to cancel my appointment with the gastroenterologist. Your products have made my life, they have improved the quality of my life so tremendously. I can't be grateful enough. So please thank you all, and please, if you ever have a chance to, please thank Dr. Howard.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. So you get yourself one of those blood tests with all the poking and prodding. They're always looking for some kind of bad news. Most blood tests these days are very lacking, only screening you for the big, bad, and ugly diseases, with you never really getting the good news, or even knowing what to do with the not-so-good news. So let me tell you about our dirt cheap comprehensive blood test. First of all, we'll be testing a wide variety of different health factors and not just the ugly few. And then we're going to sit down with you and strategize with all that we learned from your blood test findings. And I promise that you're going to know more about what you can do to help improve your health using a more natural, common sense approach. And for over 33 years, we've been very successful at setting people free from their toxic medications. It's our dirt cheap comprehensive blood test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. That's 800-794-1855. Be sure to tune into Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Amy, speaking of Dennis Prager and Prager University, where Peyton and Eli may matriculate.
Really?
No, that's legitimate. And the nice thing about that, two nice. One, it's free.
Prager?
Right? Prager University.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
Number two, you can get a phony baloney job in radio like we have.
Exactly.
So Peyton and Eli can follow in our footsteps.
Oh, yeah.
They can take over for us. It's a seamless transition. After they get a diploma from Prager University. The commencement address at Prager University this year
was delivered by whom?
Delivered by
Dan Proft?
No, delivered by Mike Rowe from
I love Mike Rowe.
Dirty Jobs and who narrates.
Ford spokesman, right?
No, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
Mike Rowe.
Yeah, and he narrates Deadliest Catch, one of my favorite shows.
Do you think he dresses like that when he's not working?
With the hat?
Yeah,
I think
and the
he
gray
does.
T-shirt and the jeans.
I think he's a little bit self-conscious about his receding hairline. That's why he wears the hat all the time.
Talk about it.
I think that's
He
why.
doesn't. People aren't supposed to know.
So Mike Rowe provides a bit of a contrarian commencement speech. You know how people tell you to follow your passion?
Oh, yeah, and that if you do what you want in life, money won't matter. The money will come.
Mike Rowe has a rejoinder to the follow your passion crowd.
Every time I watch the Oscars, I cringe when some famous movie star, trophy in hand, starts to deconstruct the secret of their success. It's always the same thing. Don't let anyone tell you that you don't have what it takes, kid. And the ever-popular, never give up on your dreams. Look, I understand the importance of persistence and the value of encouragement, but who tells a stranger to never give up on their dreams without even knowing what it is they're dreaming? I mean, how can Lady Gaga possibly know where your passion will lead you?
Because Lady Gaga...
Have these people never seen American Idol? Year after year, thousands of aspiring American Idols show up with great expectations, only to learn that they don't possess the skills they thought they did. What's really amazing, though, is not their lack of talent. The world's full of people who can't sing. It's their genuine shock at being rejected. The incredible realization that their passion and their ability had nothing to do with each other. Look, if we're talking about your hobby, by all means, let your passion lead you. But when it comes to making a living, it's easy to forget the dirty truth. Just because you're passionate about something doesn't mean you won't suck at it. And just because you've earned a degree in your chosen field, it doesn't mean you're going to find your dream job. Dream jobs are usually just that, dreams.
Yeah. How about that?
No, but you can work hard to achieve your dream job.
Well, what Rose said...
But you have to start off, doing some jobs you don't particularly like to build up that old resume.
Well, and what Rose said, a nice little aphorism he coined, is follow your passion. He said, never follow, quote unquote, follow your passion. Never follow your passion, but always bring it with you. And it's very much like what Martin Luther King said. Like, if you're a street sweeper, be the Michelangelo of street sweeping. That's kind of where he's going, I think. He also offered some advice on how to find happiness on the job. I want you to pay particular attention to this.
No, Dan, I want you to pay particular attention.
Happiness is beyond my reach. Like heaven, may my reach always exceed my grasp.
Oh, yeah.
Else what's a heaven for?
On Dirty Jobs, I remember a very successful septic tank cleaner, a multimillionaire who told me the secret to his success. I looked around to see where everyone else was headed, he said, and then I went the opposite way. Then I got good at my work. Then I began to prosper. And then one day I realized I was passionate about other people's crap. I've heard that same basic story from welders, plumbers, carpenters, electricians, HVAC professionals, hundreds of other skilled tradesmen who followed opportunity, not passion, and prospered as a result.
See the continuum?
Wow.
And
he was the best septic tank cleaner out there.
And I consider myself the septic tank cleaner of radio.
Thank God today we got a job. Hey!
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're serious about selling your home, now's the time. Supply is low, and it's a great seller's market in many Chicagoland neighborhoods. This is Michael Medved, and I've done some research, and along with my Salem radio colleagues Mike Gallagher and Dennis Prager, we all recommend that you call Saul. Saul Z and the Z team are so good that if they don't sell your home in 59 days, they'll sell it for free. Guaranteed. Saul is ranked 106 out of 1.2 million agents by the Wall Street Journal. His proven marketing system is so effective that he sells on average a home every single day. Now, he does it by attracting multiple full-price offers that increase demand and help sell your home fast and at the highest price. It's a no-brainer. If I were selling a home in Chicagoland, I'd call Saul. Go online to callsaul.net. That's callsaul.net. Or call Saul now at 888-346-0666. That's callsaul.net or 888-346-0666. You'd better call Saul.
Okay, please turn down the Quad City DJs.
It's such a great song.
It is a great song. It's infectious. Many of you own or manage growing companies, and you know that your entire business depends on your phones. If your phone service provider struggles to deliver your calls, it can mean lost revenue. It's often the case with an outdated phone system. The solution? Well, it's a company that we use here at AM 560, Innovative Networks. They excel at providing innovative solutions to reinforce your company's phone infrastructure and enhance call flow. We truly appreciate how comprehensive, diligent, and cost-effective Innovative Networks was in providing solutions that scale as our business expands. Innovative Networks can even replace your outdated phone system at no cost and provide hands-on training to maximize your capabilities. You'll save money and be more focused on growing your business. Here at AM 560, we're thrilled with Innovative Networks, so follow our lead and call Innovative Networks at 312-453-7777. They're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau, the number 312-453-7777, or visit go4inet.com. That's go, the number 4, INET.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we're going to talk to Stephanie. I can't pronounce her last name. Can you handle that?
She's the director of Under the
yeah,
Gun. And we'll ask her how much editing they had to do to make Katie Couric look informed. That's at 8:38.
And then later, Gorilla World opens today, but without Arambe. But first, we go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 57 degrees. Clouds creeping into the area at the moment. Primary election day in a half dozen states. And a number of news media outlets are reporting Hillary Clinton has already clinched the Democratic presidential nomination. California, the big prize today. Bernie Sanders pushing hard for a major upset there. However, the presidential candidate says after today's primaries, he'll head back home to Vermont to assess. House Speaker Paul Ryan will hold a news conference today proposing a major overhaul of the nation's poverty programs. Ryan's proposal would make changes to welfare, food, and housing programs. Tropical storm Colin bringing heavy rain and wind to the Carolinas and central Florida. Storm roared ashore along Florida's panhandle overnight. The last known surviving 9/11 search dog is dead. Brittany was a 16-year-old golden retriever, joined nearly 100 other canines to search for victims in the rubble of the World Trade Center. She was euthanized on Monday. Chicago police say a 6-year-old girl has been critically injured in a shooting on the city's northwest side. A judge tosses a lawsuit aimed at stopping a plan to close Lincoln Way North High School. And construction is set to begin next spring on a $75 million training center at Chicago's Richard J. Daley College. It's preparing students for technology-focused jobs in manufacturing. Cubs are a Major League best 40-16 after a 6-4 win over the Phillies. The news service of Napa Auto Parts. This month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores, get a $35 instant rebate on a new DeWalt cordless drill kit when you trade in your old power drill. That's Napa know-how. While supplies last, trade-in rebate may vary. 8:33 is our time. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher doesn't want to hear any more talk of a contested convention.
More and more Americans who would vote Republican or independent are gravitating to Donald Trump. With all due respect to the maybe Mitt Romney crowd, please don't stub your toe anymore. You guys have stubbed your toes on this stuff enough. You've been wrong over and over again. Please try to stop being so wrong.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Running your own business, running you ragged? GoDaddy can help with website design, online marketing tools, and 24/7 expert advice. Go you. GoDaddy.
It's panic time. The boss just asked you when that new building will be completed, and you haven't even started yet. Well, don't panic. Call the name you know, General Steel. You've known General Steel for decades, and you know they'll save you about half the cost and about half the time of conventional construction. But did you know that General Steel has provided buildings for some of the biggest names in business and government? And did you know the General can provide pre-construction planning services for your total project? And I'll bet you didn't know you can get General Steel quality and save thousands. For example, a 40-foot by 60-foot building for under $22,000, or a 50 by 100 for under $35,000. That's right, 5,000 square feet for under $35,000, and all with General Steel's 50-year structural warranty. So don't panic. Call now and lock in some of the lowest prices this year. 866-96-STEEL. Call 866-96-STEEL today. Quick, the boss is coming. That's 866-967-8335.
8:35. Let's get an update on the roads this morning. Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound 53 has delays from around Palatine Road to Thorndale after an earlier crash. Eastbound 390 heavy in the area from Roselle to 290. The Edens inbound delays start at Foster, 24 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 27. The Kennedy, an hour and 8 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 33 minutes from Montrose, 36 in the Express. The Ohio feeder's jammed. Outbound 58 minutes downtown to the airport. The Eisenhower, it's an hour and 32 minutes from Thorndale to downtown, an hour 14 from Manheim. Outbound an hour and 4 minutes to Thorndale, which is 37 minutes to get to Manheim. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State delays southbound 21 to Bradley, and from the Adams Tollway to the Irving Park Toll Plaza, northbound stop and go 111th to 47th, and from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue, Adams Tollway very slow, Higgins to 53 and Toohey to Lee. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Cooler day ahead, clouds and sunshine mixed, with a high of 68, clear to partly cloudy, and 50 overnight. 57 right now, winds north at 11 miles an hour. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by RadioPlumbingDeals.com. Have a plumbing problem? Get the best plumbers in Chicagoland and massive discounts at RadioPlumbingDeals.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, well, I don't know. We're supposed to talk to this director of Under the Gun. I'm looking forward to talking to her about that documentary that Katie Couric hosted. Katie Couric got caught up in a little bit of a problem there because of creative editing of the documentary that was snagged, comparing raw footage to the edited footage that was at least initially used in the documentary, where Katie Couric asked the question about gun laws, and according and how it's filmed seems to stump this group of Second Amendment advocates.
Right. They had a long pause and they had a look of bewilderment, and almost a look of guilt, because if you see it, they look guilty, but that was all manufactured. That was all edited to fit her narrative.
And when, in point of fact, she got a tutorial from one of the gentlemen that was part of this group that she was having a discussion with on Supreme Court case law, on federal law, on state law, philosophically on the right to keep and bear arms. It was quite something.
Let me ask you another question. If there are no background checks for gun purchasers, how do you prevent felons or terrorists from purchasing a gun?
And the camera pans to the group, and nobody has an answer. So that's how it was.
Cue the sinister music.
That's how it was presented. Here's what actually happened with that exchange between Couric and those individuals she was speaking with about Second Amendment rights and gun safety.
If there are no background checks, how do you prevent, I know how you all are going to answer this, but I'm asking anyway. If there are no background checks for gun purchasers, how do you prevent felons or terrorists from walking into, say, a licensed gun dealer and purchasing a gun?
Well, one, if you're not in jail, you should still have your basic rights, and you should go buy a gun.
So if you're a terrorist or a felon?
If you're a felon and you've done your time, you should have your rights.
Well, the fact is we do have statutes, both at the federal and state level, that prohibit classes of people from being in possession of firearms. If you're under 18 in Virginia, you can't walk around with a gun. If you're an illegal immigrant, if you're a convicted felon, if you've been adjudicated insane, these things are already illegal. So what we're really asking about is a question of prior restraint. How can we prevent future crime by identifying bad guys before they do anything bad? And the simple answer is you can't. And particularly under the legal system we have in the United States, there are a lot of Supreme Court opinions that say, no, prior restraint is something that the government does not have the authority to do.
Those are two very different exchanges, aren't they? And Katie Couric has subsequently apologized for that editing. And so the question is, what will we see if we view Under the Gun? Well, let's put that question to the director. She's an award-winning writer, producer, and documentary film director. Her name is Stephanie Sotig, and she joins us now. Stephanie, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So why don't we start there, because that was such a newsworthy development, the Katie Couric exchange with that group that was edited. So how does that shake out in terms of what's presented in the documentary?
Well, I mean, have you seen the film?
I'm sorry?
Have you seen the film?
No, I have not.
Okay, so if you see the film, you'll see that this particular group expresses their views on background checks earlier in an earlier exchange and throughout the film. I mean, they're actually one of the main groups that we continuously go back to. So, their views are expressed repeatedly, and we know how they feel about background checks.
But do you see how this
So I
creative
think you'll
editing
see that.
do you think how this creative editing may make some people not want to see it, make some people not want to trust the material that's in it?
I think only people that probably wouldn't have wanted to see the film ahead of time, right? I think that, when I look at the vitriol that's coming at me on Twitter, people are, criticizing this 8-second pause, and it's because they haven't seen the film. If you focus on what's actually in the film, it's bulletproof. And, I don't think anybody could take issue with the facts in the film.
So what is it in the film? Give us a kind of the thematic of the film.
Yeah, so the film Under the Gun follows a group of parents who have lost their children to gun violence. And what we tried to do was to take a really holistic look at this issue that's been portrayed as really black and white for a long period of time. What we found were some really surprising things. I think this film will really fundamentally change the way you see the gun debate. For a really long time, the NRA has driven this narrative that this is a black and white issue, that you're with us or against us, and that there's this tyrannical government that's out to take your guns away. And what we found is that the NRA actually speaks for a really small minority of gun owners. And the gun owners that they do speak for, they actually aren't really doing a good job of representing. 4% of NRA members support union membership, and they're out of sync with the rest of Americans. 90% of Americans favor universal background checks.
Don't we InstaCheck system is what the NRA supports, which would be a background check. You have to get a. What is it exactly that the NRA isn't supporting that is pending? What's the universal background check?
So currently in the United States, 40% of guns that are purchased without a background check.
How is that?
Private sellers at gun shows. And we actually demonstrate this ourselves. We were able to go into a gun show in Arizona, and we were able to buy an AR-15. We were able to buy the Smith & Wesson that was used in the Aurora shooting, and all of this was done perfectly legally.
Yeah, well, it's actually not legal because if you purchase a firearm from a federal firearm licensee, regardless of the location of the transaction, a gun store, a gun show, a gun dealer's car trunk, the FFL must confirm you are legally allowed to purchase that gun. That means they either run a background check on you via the NICS database or confirm you've passed a background check by examining your concealed carry permit or your government-issued purchase permit, like a FOID card in Illinois. So,
Did you have a FOID card when you purchased these?
Whoa.
So people can
That's
keep
completely no.
Yeah,
That's completely untrue.
No, that isn't untrue.
In this country, in Arizona, you can buy a long gun from a private seller without a background check.
Excuse me, you're conflating issues. A private seller versus a federal firearm licensee. You're talking about
That's what the background check loophole is that you can buy it from a private seller. That's not conflating anything.
You're talking about one-off transactions between a private seller.
Those one-off transactions amount to 40% of the gun purchased in this country.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not going to do the statistical debate with you because it doesn't get anywhere.
Because you lose. Because the statistics
No.
are on our side.
Actually, I wouldn't lose. And it turns out it's funny you talk about the NRA and its membership. 74. You say the NRA doesn't represent its membership. It's funny they're still members. So apparently they choose to affiliate with the NRA and they choose to advance what we have in this country now, which is in 30 years we've gone from one state, Florida, having right to carry to all 50 states having right to carry. And it was well before the Supreme Court decision in Heller. So it's actually interesting that your side is losing the debate, isn't it?
I'm not on a particular side.
You're not on a side.
Gun violence.
You're not on a side.
Are you on the pro-gun violence side? Because I'm on the anti-gun violence side.
That is a pathetic characterization. Like anybody is pro-gun violence. I'm on the
exactly.
I'm on the
we agree.
I'm on the pro-Second Amendment side, which is an individual right to self-protection.
Too. And if you had taken the time to watch the film prior to this interview, you would see that we never challenged the Second Amendment.
Where is this documentary playing? I have no idea.
It's one of the most downloaded films on iTunes. It's also on Amazon, and it's streaming on demand.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll be sure to check it out so that we can see how that editing worked out. Stephanie Sotik, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your time. Good luck with the film.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Sunshine and clouds, more clouds right now, but we will have sun on and off throughout the day. A high of 68 degrees, a little chillier than what we're used to. Tonight, a low of 50 degrees, and tomorrow, pleasant, sunny, a high of 73. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, the inbound Eisenhower is brutal. An hour and 32 minutes from Thorndale to downtown, an hour and 14 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 37 minutes to Manheim, an hour and 4 minutes to Thorndale. Eden's lighting up a bit. 24 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 27. Kennedy, an hour and 8 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Slower in the Express, the Ohio feeder backed up. Outbound, still 58 minutes downtown to the airport. Mount Stevenson, looking at 56 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38. Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State, southbound stop and go from the Adams Tollway to the Irving Park Toll. Northbound from 95th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway very slow, Higgins to 53 and Toohey to Lee. Reagan Tollway, Farnsworth to Eola, and York to the Tri-State Veterans Memorial. So 75th to the Reagan Tollway, and St. Charles to 290. 53 still heavy, Beesterfield to Thorndale after an earlier crash. Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Father's Day right around the corner. Get your father the gift of a great night's sleep, but also you might want to get him a MyPillow because of health reasons. Did you know that you're supposed to change pillows every 2 years or less? That's because pillows absorb dead skin, dirt, skin oils, dust mites that can cause allergies, acne, asthma, and who knows what else. So if you haven't already done so, you need a washable MyPillow, and so does your dad. With a 10-year warranty, it's a great gift and health investment, and you will sleep better too. I know that I do. That's why MyPillow is the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. Visit MyPillow.com. Use Amy in the promo code AMY. 2 pillows for the price of one. Or call 800-489-0201. 800-489-0201. Do it now. MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
If you think all banks are the same, it's time to think about Signature Bank Chicago. I'm Pete Olson, head of commercial banking at Signature Bank, where the people who own the bank operate the bank. Not in an abstract way, but in the same hands-on, personalized way that you run your business. We don't rely on a legion of business developers to find new relationships. We don't trust an outsourced phone bank to address your customer service needs, and we don't delegate decision-making to some anonymous credit committee that you'll never meet. We do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you don't succeed, we don't succeed. Call us today to see the Signature Bank difference.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature New Year's Challenge. Success stories are pouring in. So many people have been helped through this incentive that I have asked Balance of Nature to continue this challenge for as long as possible.
I'll tell you what, this stuff is great. I haven't gotten sick. Everybody around me is coming down with that laryngitis, and it seems like it's all over the country. It's like a respiratory tract infection, and people lose their voice, and then it goes away, and then it comes back like 2 weeks later, and it's worse. I teach in a school. Half the teachers here, are sick. They're miserable, and I haven't gotten sick, and I swear it's this stuff. It's this fruits and veggies I'm taking.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
I wanted to ask her that, Dan, about straw purchases and stealing of guns. I think that's where most of the people are getting their guns that are being used in homicides.
Well, that's true. And, but the point is she's disingenuous. She's disingenuous when she's not outright lying. About the editing to start, and then that she doesn't have a perspective on the issue. I'm anti-gun violence. Are you pro-gun violence? That's the indicia of someone who is not a serious person. By the way, on her whole false statistic, I didn't want to get into it with her because I was trying to get to a more productive place, but she didn't want to go there. The whole 40% of people get their guns from these private transactions. Lie. It's a lie. That's a 20-year-old study that was given 3 out of 4 Pinocchios by right-wing outlets like the Washington Post.
And that's
it's nonsense.
The attribution that she used?
That's what she's using. That's because this is an old canard of the left, of the gun banning crowd, the whole 40% of these private transactions.
But she won't even admit about false advertising and dominating the editing, because there was an 8-second pause in there to make the gun rights supporters look stupid.
And just so the whole 40% of private transactions, that's where people get their guns, private transactions, no background check, 40% of gun sales, no background check. That study that was done, it's questionable, the methodology, just as a baseline. But in addition to that, it covered a lot of sales before the federal background check system even existed. It's completely disingenuous. I can already tell you without seeing the film, based on her attitude and her ideology, there's nothing you're going to learn here. It's just going to be another
propaganda piece.
Yeah, it's just more nostrums of the left on guns. Kurt in Park Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dan, I want to thank you so much for that interview. It was awesome. You didn't let her wiggle or squeeze away or spin. I'm telling you what, it's going to be hard to beat that interview for the rest of the month. It was great. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Kurt. Ed, the gun safety guy in Lombard.
Oh, yeah.
Here's an expert. Hey, Ed.
Hi there. Yeah, you gave a great example of the 40% where she pulled that off of an old study that was shown invalid over and over again. There were others as well. the 70% of NRA members don't support. The NRA does not publish its membership lists, and so consequently, there's no way to go out and survey NRA members.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And how did she get
Unless
that
they like
statistic?
self-identify, right? Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And then the 90% of people support universal background checks. The problem with the term universal background checks, they're not universal because there's one group of people that's not going to take part, and that is the criminals.
There you go.
And so basically what it's saying, we want 100% of legal gun owners signed up. And the fact is, only registration will enable such a thing to work. And finally, it's the key thing. I hate the term gun violence.
Yeah.
I've never known a gun to be violent. I've never known a gun to be arrested, tried, convicted. I've never known a gun to have an attitude. These are people. As you know, Dan, in my other life, I'm a clergyman, and we deal with sin, with people who do bad things. It's out of the heart that we have the problem, not out of the box of guns.
Thanks for the call, Ed. Bryant, the gun safety guy, appreciate it. Nick and Carrie.
Hi, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah, hopefully I'm not wasting your time here. Didn't she say that their response was actually played at the beginning of the documentary? So that sounded to me like that was separated from that particular piece that you played there. So they purposely separate if that's true. So how can whoever listens to the second half doesn't hear the first half?
Yeah, I mean, it's. She said, their opinions are included throughout, but you're right in terms of where the actual exchange in question. She was a little dodgy about. I'll have to endure the documentary to see what happened there. But I appreciate the call, Nick. Dave in Northbrook.
Hey, you're listening to people like that, and the statistics that you're talking about are faulty. Even if those were true, the problem with the anti-gun lobby is that the laws that they're proposing to, quote-unquote, fix those issues have nothing to do with the vast majority of gun violence in this country. I mean, you look at the south side of Chicago, even, these aren't people going to private gun shows, buying from private sellers at gun shows. These are people buying from the backs of trunks of cars that are stolen weapons.
Right.
And you can pass all the laws in the world to fix what she thinks is a problem, and it has nothing to do with the gun violence in this country.
Thanks, Dave.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
For collectors of coins and currency investors, or people who want to check out some fantastic history, make plans to attend the Greater Chicago Coin, Currency, and Collectibles Show. The show is at the Tinley Park Convention Center next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Admission and parking are free. Just bring your photo ID. This is one of the largest shows in the country with hundreds of dealers, the best coin dealers